This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and for waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. It is Sunday. I think we're, in the final week of August now? Actually, we do have one more Sunday stream coming in August, on August 31st. But yeah, pretty much the last week ahead of us. And then we go into September. September is going to be an interesting time. Very interesting time. And we have Corey, the legend Landiga, coming in within seconds of seeing Boss and Leia chilling, sleeping, getting their Z's in, I guess you could say. Dropping 5 membership gifts for you guys right off the bat. Corey, thank you so much, man.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
Corey's feeling the hype. He's eagerly, awaiting Metal Gear Solid Delta. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Delta week. This week, it's a little bit of drama. You know, it's a little bit of drama surrounding Metal Gear. But you know what? I've come to the conclusion that I just can't be bothered with it. I'm going to be honest. No disrespect to anybody. You know, I think people have some valid reasons. That's fine. But this is just one of those situations where it's like, I can't be bothered, man. You know, like I'm in my own world and I'm ready. So what's the drama? Hey, you know what? Ignorance is bliss, Zero Point. If you don't know the drama, even better. Yeah, I saw the new Lego Batman game. It's looking pretty crazy. It looks really good. Looks like shockingly good. Somebody left a post. I forget who it was, but they left a post on the community tab, and they were talking about how the new Lego Batman game reveals just how bad the Lego Horizon game is, where like Lego Batman really feels like a proper actual Batman game. You know, just Lego, right? And I kind of agree with that, where I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. Lady Gamer, your birthday is September 28th. That's interesting. My birthday is September 30th. So very close. Oh, dude, no. The funniest thing I saw, Tarnished, about Metal Gear, that, like, dude, I burst out laughing multiple times because I was like, I can't even be mad. It's so funny. There's one section at the very beginning of the game where Major Zero's talking to Snake on the codec. And, you know, in that section of the game, he's telling Snake, basically he's talking to the player, telling you how you equip weapons and navigate the menus. And they changed something in the menus to where what was there previously in the recordings didn't work. So they like chopped up words and put those words together. And there's like one line he speaks where he just sounds, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. And people are like, I don't know, people are like really upset about it. And I'm like, that shit's just funny, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like it sounds so bad, it's just funny. But it's just one line. But yeah, I was dying when I heard that. I'm like, there ain't no way. Konami was like, this is how we're doing it. You think the Herman Hulst interview is a nothing burger? Yeah, but it's all we got, right? I need that nothing burger right now. I need that nothing burger. We have Anime for Entertainment. By the way, I almost missed this. He used his milestone chat. A member for 24 months. Anime for Entertainment, thank you for being a longtime member, buddy. You're saying here, really hoping to see Wolverine at the rumored state of play / showcase this time. Yeah, so for those who are unaware, Jeff Grubb is saying that the next PlayStation show, which could be a showcase, but it's probably more likely to be a state of play. The next show is happening on, well, we don't have a specific date, but the end of September. So it might be like the last week of September, somewhere around that time. I see. Thanks for the membership. How do I view it or use it? Sorry, still new to this. So basically, if you got gifted a membership, there's no strings attached whatsoever. You just have it for 1 month. It doesn't auto renew or anything. Basically, you have access to all the members' content. So when you're done at the stream here, we do like members lounges, member gameplay. It's under the membership section. So you have access to all that. You can use emojis in the chat now. You get the badge next to your name. So yeah, there are a couple of benefits to it. And if you enjoy it, consider renewing it and supporting the channel. Certainly helps. 0 Point, you're saying MBG from now onward, I will keep my hype level underground. Straight up underground. Not even on the ground, just under it. Gotta go low. Yeah, we have a new interview. It's not just a Herman Hulst interview. It's interesting. There's like a write-up on the Financial Times about PlayStation Studios, and there's like multiple leaders from PlayStation Studios, including Herman Hulst, giving us, I think, somewhat of an update on the state of PlayStation Studios. That's how I'm reading it anyway. It's not like the biggest thing in the world, but Herman Hulst does talk about live service games again and gives us a better understanding of their plans, I guess, or their the way they plan on handling live service going forward. And it's interesting because there's one thing that Herman Hulst said that I think may go a bit under the radar. And I do think it's actually important to highlight because it is basically the polar opposite of what Jim Ryan was saying like 4 years ago. So we'll go over that. Not saying it's necessarily good. I mean, I think some people will see it as good, but it is quite literally the polar opposite of what Jim Ryan was saying 4 years ago. So we will talk about it. I see we have Hiroki Totoki in the chat. He definitely has to tune into this Press X podcast episode saying, we Brazilians want to know where the first parties are. Wait, Hiroki Totoki is He's a Brazilian? What's going on? That's news to me. Mr. B, you think you know what it is? Michael says, oh, wow, his cats finally love each other. They're chilling together. Yeah, it happens, They share the cat bed sometimes. That's an extra wide cat bed, So it's good to see that they're using it. I'm just happy to see them using it, especially when they're using it together. You watched Sony PlayStation Fire Chat thing and heard nothing that excited me. I know it was for shareholders though. Yeah, this is a Financial Times thing, which I guess is kind of for the shareholders as well. But they do have some studio leaders, like the studio head of Team Asobi and Sucker Punch, in this interview, which is good. This is the only thing I could find. I'm going to be honest. Like, there's not a whole lot going on right now. I think it's like the calm before the storm, maybe. That will be September. I don't know. I just say these things, I don't know if there's any truth to them or not. Imagine if there were more canceled games behind the scenes at PlayStation Studios. I don't know that I would be that upset, depending on what the games were. We're definitely going to have another conversation about the live service situation, but that's because we're going to be basing it off of what Herman Hulst is telling us. Sony discounted the PS5 in China after the price hike in the US. Yeah, I saw that. That should indicate that it is definitely due to the tariffs. I'm telling you, like, people were kind of making fun of me when I was saying Sony didn't want to increase the price of the PS5. And I know why that sounds funny. I know why that sounds funny, because it's like, yo, only a fanboy would say that. But it's like, no, literally, like, they're afraid to raise the price of the PS5 in the US because it's their strongest market and their most important market, and they're afraid that it'll hurt their sales. And yeah, it might. So I think they're kind of trying to offset it. Yeah, there's like a discount in Canada, there's a discount in China, and I think there might be a few other regions. So, I think they're doing this strategically as a way to kind of potentially offset some lost sales in the US, maybe. I'm not sure. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. But yeah, guys, we're gonna get into this conversation here. I'm gonna go over the new update for PlayStation Studios. It's an incredible time for PlayStation. I don't think it is the tariffs, because GPUs are getting cheaper. It has to be something. I mean, I don't know. I doubt Sony. It just doesn't make any sense for Sony to raise the price of the PS5 just to make more money on it, because it's like, well, there's an argument certainly to be made that now people are less likely to buy the PS5 now than they were 2 or 3 years ago. You know what I mean? I speculated, prior to the announcement, I speculated that, you look at the fact that Sony sold 80 million PS5s, right? They sold 30 million, or not 30, 80 million PS5s. Presumably they want to get to the 110 million mark with sales. By this point in time in every other generation, the people who held out and were waiting, they would be rewarded with, like, here's a lower price point. We drop the price, and it's like, okay, now I'll upgrade. The opposite is happening. So you already had a hard enough time convincing that person to upgrade 4, 5, 6 years in. Now it just got even harder when you come out here and you're like, it's going to be $50 more. It's almost like you're punishing the people who waited, or at least that's how it's going to feel to them. So they're even less likely to upgrade now. That's why I think Sony did not want to increase the price, because it's like, yeah, man, that's a tough sell. That's a tough sell. But here we are. They want to blame Canada. Damn Canadians. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, that's the one thing I feel pretty sure about. Sony's going to hit 100 million because of GTA 6. No doubt. Even with the price increase. I could see them maybe trying to put it on sale or something, or actually trying to reduce the price by the time GTA 6 is getting ready to come out. But that remains to be seen. We'll find out. I mean, look, in the next 3 months, we're going to get an earnings report from Sony, and that earnings report will include, the price increase of the PS5, and we'll have an idea of how much the price increase did or did not impact the sales. It's going to be a little bit surprising, I think, if the next earnings report comes out and it's like, yeah, we're still like on pace with the PS4. That'd be kind of crazy. That'd be crazy, because it's like, you increase the price and you're still on track with the PS4. How is that even possible? If GTA 6 comes out, that's different. But we have this small window before GTA 6 comes out to get some kind of idea of how the market's actually going to react to the price increase. Oh, that's interesting, Irfan. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it looks like they're really hoping that they'll make up some of those numbers in China. All right. Well, we have a write up here from the Financial Times. It says Sony is building a vast games empire. Can it keep control? Oh, okay. PlayStation owner wants its standalone first-party studios to contribute more to revenue growth and take measured risks. So, um, it says here when Sony released its latest version of Astrobot last year, it allowed gamers playing as the cute white robot to unlock bots in various guises, from the fungus infected zombie in The Last of Us to the knife wielding mercenary scene in Metal Gear Solid. The merging of characters intended to celebrate the 30-year history of the PlayStation console is symbolic of an accelerating multi-billion-dollar effort to squeeze more out of the Japanese tech giant's vast gaming empire. According to interviews with more than 10 of Sony's top games executives, designers, and studio founders, the company is trying to balance creation and control in a business that is central to the Tokyo based group's strategy. Sony is seeking to ensure that its first party studios, 20 standalone groups that make games exclusively for its PlayStation console, contribute more to overall revenue growth and take measured risks, all without squashing the independence each studio demands to produce hits. I don't want teams to always play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply, said Herman Holst, chief executive of the studio business at Sony Interactive Entertainment, which handles the PlayStation brand. Sony has spent big on its network of first party studios over the past decade, such as its $3.6 billion deal to acquire Halo maker Bungie in 2022, while providing studios with hundreds of millions of dollars per year to develop wildly successful titles such as God of War and Spider-Man. First party studios brought in a small slice of Sony's gaming and network revenues, worth $32 billion last year, but executives said they carry outsized importance as they define the unique personality of the PlayStation. They provide the games and characters that mark the console out from Microsoft's Xbox and Nintendo Switch. PlayStation is basically the HBO of gaming, mass budget and big productions, said Joost van Drunen, games analyst and academic. Herman Holst said he wants studios to, quote, think big in the search for new blockbusters, but he adds that the company is putting in more safeguards to limit the impact of inevitable failures. That effort has been magnified by the collapse of Concord. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Developed by Firewalk Studios, which Sony acquired in 2023. The title was Sony's effort to catch up in so-called live service gaming, a lucrative niche. Bro, did they just call live service games a niche? That's crazy. Led by rivals such as Epic Games' Fortnite and Electronic Arts' Apex Legends, in which users pay to get access to continuous updates and features. When Concord was released in September of last year, the market was already saturated by similar and cheaper offerings. The game was shut down after only 2 weeks following poor sales and reviews. Firewalk Studios was closed soon after. Analysts suggest Concord cost upward of $250 million to make. It's worth adding a note here that we did get reports, I believe, from Colin Moriarty that it actually cost over $400 million in total. It continues here saying that expensive demise appears to have led to a change in strategy. Herman Holst downplayed a previous target pushed by former PlayStation boss Jim Ryan of releasing 10 or more live service games by March of next year. Sony canceled plans for some high-profile live service attempts, such as The Last of Us. Quote, the number of live service releases is not so important. What is important to me is having a diverse set of player experiences and a set of communities, he said. We have since put in place much more rigorous and more frequent testing in very many different ways, said Holst. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is. Studio bosses said this oversight includes more focus on group testing, encouragement to learn from what others in the Sony family are doing, and closer relationships between top executives who clock hundreds of hours of gameplay ahead of titles going live. So before I continue on here, that's one of the big things I wanted to highlight about this interview and what Herman Holst is saying. We are actually witnessing a complete 180 to a degree from Sony, where Jim Ryan came out like 3 or 4 years ago and basically was like, we're going to have 10, 12 live service games. We're going all in. And, it's like a 160. There you go. Yeah, sounds about right. And now Herman Holst is saying, well, it's actually about fewer live service games, but more successful ones. And I'm just he's saying, I think he's saying the right things, right? Like things he has to say in a post Concord world where it's like, yeah, man, we have more safeguards now. Okay. Like we're trying to figure this out, guys. We're trying to figure out how to get our live service games to not pull a Concord and to pull a Helldivers 2 instead. Of course, it makes sense you're going to do that. But what's interesting to me is how they say here that this oversight, they're saying it focuses on more group testing, encouragement to learn from what others in the Sony family are doing, and closer relationships between top executives. So it really sounds like Sony's like maybe waking up to the reality that it's like, look, man, um, we got to figure out if people are actually going to like this or not. This article was clearly written by someone at Sony. Yeah, right. The wildly successful. MBG, you're getting called out for that Metal Gear Solid tweet you posted about 480i 30 FPS. There are many factors that explain why things aren't the way they were. Imagine if MGS3 ran at 240p 20/10 FPS on PS2. No, I hear you. I hear you, Tarnished. No, my whole point, I think I knew people were going to misunderstand and misinterpret what I was saying. They're going to take it as I'm defending. I'm not defending anything. The point of that tweet was to basically call back to when times were simpler and how I just missed that. You know what I mean? Like I just genuinely missed the times when we could just enjoy the game for what it is, even with its imperfections. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like we gotta overanalyze and get every little fucking pixel and every. You know what I mean? I do miss those days. I think everybody to a degree misses those days. And Matt Fu comes in. Matt Fu, it's been a long time, bro. He comes in with the, I always love his Astrobot picture there. Dropping 20 membership gifts on you guys. He's flexing the 20 bomb today.
Holy shit.
I think I have a Astro. Let me see. Is this? I don't know if this is the right sound. There it is. Matt Fu coming in, dropping 20 membership gifts on you guys. Corey dropped 5 earlier. That brings us up to 25. And just like that, we crushed the first goal of the day, and we can feed the beast. So W's in the chat for the 20 bomb there. And yeah, guys, if you get gifted a membership, go check out some of the members' content. We should have more coming later this week. We did a Death Stranding 2 stream not that long ago. You can check that out. Boss knows.
Do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Time. Leia's excited. Here you go. Share. You guys share, all right? Uh-oh. I guess Leia's getting first dibs this time. Sorry, boss. Go ahead. She'll share. Boss is scared. He's like, I don't know, man. Look at this. Look at his tail. Just wrap it around my head. But yeah, Tarnish, that's all I was trying to say is like, you know, I've made it. I did put a post out earlier that day letting people know, boss, stop flashing the audience, man. Stop. Is this guy serious? Is he serious right now? I did put out another post earlier that day saying that I do think it's unacceptable. I do think that Konami needed to do a better job, and this, you know, to a degree, this does suck, you know. But it's just seeing how intense the arguments get and how intense people are getting about it. Where I got to be honest, like I just think it's unfortunate where it's like people are getting so mad and bent out of shape that it's like. I feel like, I don't know, like at what point do you just kind of cross that line where I think it's like you're just miserable now? Like it doesn't mean we just have to, you know, consume and don't ask questions and don't hold these companies accountable. You know, I don't think it's that, right? I feel like there's a kind of a middle ground, you know, and I think these days, you know, in the year 2025, more and more people, I think, lose sight of that middle ground, that rational, reasonable middle ground where it's like you can call out Konami and make them aware that there's a problem here. Okay? There's a problem here and you have to fix it because make no mistake, I'm sure they're going to fix it. Like if they don't fix it, then I will have to call them out very aggressively because it's like, come on, man. You know? You gotta fix it. They're gonna fix it. But we can call them out, let them know that you should have delayed it. It should be better. But at the same time, like, I hate that I'm seeing people that are passionate about Metal Gear Solid, that are excited to replay this game and still feeling excited for it. I hate that I'm seeing them feel like they have to go on the defense because there are people that are just losing their minds over this, you know? And I'm going to be honest, man, like where I draw the line, right, is it's like, look, man, you got to make a decision. You're either going to reject this game, not give them your money, and demand better, or you're going to give them your money and play the game and basically tell them it's okay. My response to that is, why not both? Because why not? Like, why can't we still support the thing that we're excited about, but make it very clear to Konami that you need, there are still problems. Your work is not done. You have to fix it, and you need to make sure you do better next time. See, and I get it. People maybe feel that way because they're like, well, it's like what you're saying, like they'll only listen to money. And I'm like, well, but is that really true though? I don't necessarily think so. We see developers that release successful games all the time, still patch them, still fix, they're still releasing fixes and stuff many, many months afterwards. Like, don't get me wrong, there are those, like, I can understand if somebody's concerned that Konami is going to be that case. But I look at something like Silent Hill 2 Remake, where it's like, that game got fixed. That game did well, too, but it got fixed. They didn't just leave it out. They're like, whatever, bro, we don't care. We're counting our money. They didn't do that. It's like, I guess I'm just not looking at it from the ultra cynical point of view where it's like, I don't know, man. We all are letting them know. Digital Foundry is letting them know. I'm sure they're not going to ignore it. They need that goodwill. Certainly. But yeah, man, I don't know. It does kind of feel like, yeah, like that's the most extreme example, MVP Moss. You're saying Cyberpunk made a shitload of money after all their performance. You're saying Silent Hill 2 Remake is still broken on the PS5 Pro? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Am I wrong on that? I don't know. I thought they had multiple updates for it. And they fixed like PSSR, or they added an option where you could use TSR or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But see, that's kind of the irony though, right? Like, I am wrong. Are you? I'll have to look into this then. I could have swore, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm confused then. Look, I'm just saying, ultimately, people were pretty upset with Silent Hill 2, and I didn't give a shit. I'm just saying. Like, I saw what people were upset about, and I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have noticed on my own, but I see what the problem is, and they should fix that, but I'm going to enjoy this game now. And let me tell you, I platinumed Silent Hill 2 Remake, put a shit ton of time into it, and I have zero regrets whatsoever. Like, that's $70 well spent. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to feel the same way about Metal Gear Solid. And that's why it's like, I'm not trying to make it sound like to people like, and you should do that too. I'm not trying to do that, but I have to be real in that, like, dude, I'm not coming to Konami's defense. I'm just saying, like, I'm fucking excited to play Metal Gear, and it looks great. That's all it is. And if somebody comes up to me and says, well, aren't you upset? Like, aren't you mad and angry that they're not, that the game isn't optimized well enough? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But no, like, sorry, I'm not angry enough to say, no, thank you. I don't want to play this. I'm not. And I'm not going to sit there and let the game release and just sit back and be like, oh, wait, after I've been waiting for, like, no, dude, I want to play the game day one, and I want to play the shit out of it, and I want to have a good time, and I want to enjoy it. And I just feel like I just feel like there are too many people out there where they are that person where they're trying to yell over you, where they're like, no, you can't enjoy this. Like you're part of the problem. And it's like, dude, just go do something that will make you happy. You know? Like if you're getting to that point, just go do something that's gonna make you happy. All right. Anyway, got a little bit sidetracked there, but yeah, I don't know. Josh, you're saying it's disappointing, but there's too much to play right now for the extremists. I'll just wait till it gets patched up a bit. And see, that's the thing too, Josh. Like to me, that I've seen a lot of people, and I want to give credit where it's due. I've seen a lot of people with reasonable takes. And it's that right there, Josh, where it's like, oh yeah, the game looks like something I still want to play. But hearing that it has some issues, there's plenty of other games to choose from right now. I'll wait. You know, I'll buy it when it's fixed or maybe when it goes on sale. And like there you go. I feel like that's the perfect middle ground. Where like if that's how you feel and you feel like it's not something you really want to partake in day one, but you're still excited for it, that's the best. Like if Metal Gear Solid wasn't like my all-time favorite game, I may even take that approach. You know? But I just feel I don't know, I just feel a little bit bad where I know like people are very passionate. I'm one of these people, very, very passionate about Metal Gear Solid. They care a lot about this game and this series, and they're stoked for it, you know? And yes, they are stoked for it where they're like, you know what, I can live with some frame dips and some frame drops. I can do it. I can live with it. And that's the whole thing is it's just like I put that post out basically saying like, yeah, back in 2004, I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 3 on my PlayStation 2 at 480i resolution. And I looked into it. I did some research. Apparently, Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PS2 is known to have frame drops as well, where it would actually, I think, dip below 30 in some cases and go to like 25 or 24 at certain times. It was really pushing the PS2 hardware. And it's funny to me to think that, like, man, none of that mattered to me, even a little bit back then. And that, I'm not saying that it means, like, I was ignorant. That's the whole point. Like, I was ignorant to it. I didn't know. How can something how the saying goes, like, what you don't know can't hurt you, right? And I'm not saying, like, we should be that way today. It's just, there's a certain essence there that exists that, like, I kind of yearn for a little bit. Where it's like, man, that simplicity of just, I don't give a shit about the resolution. I don't give a shit about the frame rate. All I gave a shit about was how engrossed I was getting in the game on my like 20-inch CRT TV, you know, with probably like the worst sound quality ever. And it just, none of it mattered. I'm just in it. I miss that. I miss that a little bit, you know, and I don't necessarily want things to be that way now. Where like I want things to be shitty and to not care. No, I don't mean that. It's just I think most people understand what I'm trying to say. Where it's like, yeah, it's like the ignorance is bliss, simpler times. You know, we all kind of look back to the type of gaming experiences that really hooked us in and got us into gaming. And I think that none of these things that people really talk about in such an intense way, I don't think that any of those were really part of it. I think they're a part of it now, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like even with something that I played earlier this year, Expedition 33, I saw like there's like so many arguments about how like this game is ugly or something, or it's like not actually a good looking game or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, who cares? It's like people who complain about the performance of Bloodborne. You know, it's like, yeah, Bloodborne is infamous for not being a extremely well optimized game. Just From Software in general, but it's like, why does it get a pass? I'll tell you why it gets a pass. Because they make fucking great games. That like you like, I gotta play this shit. I gotta play. I got to have it, you know. And I understand where it's like, well, we need to demand better, and it's like we should, but how can you be angry at the person that's like, I don't actually, you know what? Yeah, it's got performance issues. Bloodborne, I'm still playing that shit because the game's awesome. It's tough, man. It's tough. I totally understand where people come from, where it's like, well, that's true. Well, yeah, could you imagine if there's a Bloodborne remake and it still has the same issues? But that's the point. That's the point. If Bloodborne remake came out and it had some imperfections and it had some performance issues, it would not matter, dude. There would be some drama, but let me tell you, that game's selling like fucking hotcakes, and you better believe the Bloodborne fan base is going to be eating that up to no end, right? And we all know it. That doesn't mean they shouldn't optimize it and make it perfect or as perfect as it can be. They should. But we all know. We all know that at the end of the day, the truest saying is a good game is a good game is a good game. And that's, I will never be angry at somebody for dying on that hill. You know why? Because that's why you're even here in the first place. Oh yeah, I gotta get on that MVP Moss. But that's why we're here in the first place, right? We're all here playing games, passionate about games, talking about games because of what, where we started and what got us into it. And I'm telling you, man, most of you here, anybody listening to this, anybody who talks about games, you probably, if you were to look back at one of your favorite gaming memories, like this experience you had playing this game, right? That like it just lives in your head. If you were to think really hard about the circumstances, like where you were playing, what hardware you were playing on, what the screen looked like, what the sound quality was like, you probably would realize like, man, it was all really shitty. Like almost all of it was really shitty. And it didn't matter. That's all. I'm just trying to advocate a little bit for, sometimes you just got to play the game for the love of the game. No, that's not me saying just don't ask questions. I agree. Exactly, Chase. You're absolutely right. The criticism is fair and it is warranted. I'm not saying it's unwarranted. I'm just saying sometimes I think we all encounter these situations where it's like, sometimes you just got to embrace something for the love of it. And even with its imperfections, even with its flaws, I think we all encounter that from time to time. And in this case with me with Metal Gear, that's absolutely what this is. And I can't deny it. Can't deny it. You're saying MGS is outrageously bad? I mean, outrageous. I don't know if I would say outrageous. I mean, in some instances, maybe. But Cleophas, the member for 16 months, says tomorrow begins the most crowded week of the year in gaming. Have you laid out your cookies for its arrival? Oh, yeah, I've laid out my cookies, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm still trying. I'm still trying to fucking platinum Death Stranding, and I'm just stressed because I'm like, dude, I have like 25 facilities now done, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna get it done by the time Metal Gear comes out. And then there's all these other games coming out on top of it. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm panicking. Yeah, it's a tough situation, Tarnished. And I'm going to get back to talking about the update with PlayStation Studios. I apologize. I'm a little bit passionate about this topic, and it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard not to I'm trying not to get defensive. It's just I just think we're in we've reached that point where people have to pick their lane. It's like you're either excited to play it or you're not, or you were, but you find it unacceptable. And, I don't know, man. As there's like a part of me that's like, if I were to be angry, what would that mean? It would mean like, man, I went into something thinking I'm going to love this. And now I'm like distraught and I don't even want to partake now. And I understand it's like, well, you got to stand on principle sometimes. And that's why I encourage people to do that. We're like, I'm not, like I salute those people, like stand on your principle. I'm weak, bro. Like I'm fucking playing this game. I ain't waiting. I'm I'm still gonna yell at Konami, fix your shit, get better, improve. But I gotta play this game. You know, if this was a different game, I think maybe I'd feel. If it was something that I wasn't so attached to emotionally, I probably would have a different view of it. It would probably be a lot easier for me to take a step back and be like, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe hold on to your money, you know? There you go. Let's go egg all the cars at at Konami's parking lot. Yeah, there you go. Just about wrapping up Mr. Impossible at the moment. Is it really as hard as people make it sound to complete Mr. Impossible to get 5 stars? Because it feels like it's going real slow. I did like a couple deliveries for you know, for Mr. Impossible, and it like didn't move the star at all. I'm like, what's going on? If it was Yotei instead of Delta having those problems, yikes. Yeah, I mean that's the thing too, man. Yeah, no, I mean you're probably right. Like that. This is see when you mention something like Ghost of Yotei, like if it were to have similar issues, I realize like that I can see my bias clear as day, where it's like there's a nostalgic hook in me that's pulling me to Metal Gear that is so strong that I can say for sure that if Ghost of Yotei had the same issues, like I would probably be way harsher on Sony because I don't really have nostalgia for Ghost, right? Like I played it at the same time as everybody else. I was it's like 5 years ago. If Ghost was like a long running beloved series that I was playing as a kid, I guess in some cases I can be blinded by the nostalgia. Maybe we all can. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. The standard for PlayStation Studios is very high. Very high. It means you need to do a sub order if the star doesn't move. Okay. I'll have to go check on that. Yeah, I think that's true too. That makes it look even worse. You're saying there is no excuse for a Sony first party title not to be optimized for their own console. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is they are making it for one console, their own console. So all of that, yeah, it would be like a 10 times worse in that case. But yeah, man, I don't know. This whole Metal Gear thing just got me thinking. That's all. It's just got me thinking about like, hold on. Richrod, I did not see the Konami song, bro. No, Richrod. I don't care if you're telling me MGS Delta was going to be buns. It ain't going to be buns. I'm telling you, I'm proud to play it. I'll be like, yo, that shit was fire, bro. Frame drops and all. Best Metal Gear experience ever. For real, though. Read the direct dono, show respect. If I read it, that's a $5 tax. Saying, I told you MGS Delta was buns, but you let your inner cult blind loyalty take over. It looked terrible, and it has proven so. Did you see my Konami song on X? I did not see the Konami song. Maybe I'll check that out later. I do got to get back on topic, though. I'm sorry. There's a little side quest right there. Leave me and my Metal Gear alone. Leave me be. Well, I like I said, man. What is it? Today's the 24th. We got 2 days. I'm gonna be streaming the game, so I'll be honest with you too, man. I will be totally honest. And like, if I see shit that I'm like, oh yeah, it's looking kind of like something ain't looking right, or I'm feeling the frame drops or whatever, I'll let you know. You'll be able to watch it with me, in real time. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a good time. Go look at it and play it. It's not offensive. Rich, remind me later on. I can't do it right now, dude. That's too much of a deviation. I can't allow you to be that disruptive. Oh, I see Luna's chilling on the chair next to me here. He said, do it now. Well, Tarnished, you know what I'll say about that? I always try to tell people, and this will be the last thing I say, because I see that, yeah, that's a crazy argument that's happening. Maybe an expected one, but that's a big argument that's happening about Metal Gear, the cemetery scene and whatnot, and the art style and direction. And I always will say this, like, listen. If you don't like the way the new remake looks, I have some good news for you. You can still play the original. It didn't go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's there. We have multiple ways to access it. It's still there. So you can still play the better version. You know what I mean? I always try to remind people of that. Like, no matter how upset you get with a remake, the original will still be there. And if you like the original better, you can continue to enjoy it. People are just very upset about in the remake, the art style is very, very different. The lighting is very different, and it's less artistic, I guess you could say. It trades the artistic style that was there for the original in for more realism or photorealism. And some people have a big problem with that. I understand. I totally get where they're coming from. But isn't there like a filter you can put on too, by the way, to make it look like the original game? Well, anyway, back to Herman Holst, back to PlayStation Studios. Let me read this one more time. He says Herman Holst says, the number of live service releases is not so important. What is important to me is having a diverse set of player experiences and a set of communities. We have since put in place much more rigorous and more frequent testing in very many different ways. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is. So it continues by saying studio bosses said that this oversight includes more focus on group testing, encouragement to learn from what others in the Sony family are doing, and closer relationships between top executives who clock hundreds of hours of gameplay ahead of titles going live. The ways in which a studio is different might not all be helping you make great games. This is what Chris Zimmerman, the co-founder of Seattle-based Sucker Punch, said, the studio behind Ghost of Yotei. As a so-called AAA game, meaning it was significantly more expensive to produce than Astrobot, Ghost of Yotei is the follow-up to a samurai game that became one of Sony's best-selling titles in Japan. There were no boundaries enacted by Sony on how they developed the sequel. But if we're heading towards a giant landmine, like there's another studio making the exact same type of game, that's good information, said Jason Connell, Sucker Punch's art director. That Concord has forced them to learn their lessons is the silver lining, said Robin Zhu. I think I'm saying his name correctly, an analyst at Bernstein. Sony is in a great position to capitalize long-term if they focus on the kind of games that make them different and successful. Herman Holst said he wants studios incentivized by profit sharing to also think about how the intellectual property they generate can be turned into ever bigger franchises, core to Sony's shift to an entertainment-led company. This has been achieved previously with titles such as The Last of Us, Uncharted, and a vast array of anime that Sony has acquired. The emergence of Astrobot, made by Tokyo-based Team Asobi, has even led to a growing belief that it could be Sony's answer to Nintendo's decade-old Super Mario franchise, which features a mustached plumber who has leapt across multiple titles and even inspired Hollywood movies. Why do they write this stuff like this? I always find it weird when they write stuff like that. Like just in case you don't know who Mario is, like. Says we take a very intentional approach to IP creation, understanding how a new concept can turn into an iconic franchise for PlayStation that can then become a franchise for people beyond gaming, said Herman Holst. Sony's pitch to studios is that it will insulate them from the financial pressure faced by independents by providing the resources to build bigger operations. It was a little bit scary. Being bought by a bigger company feels like you're just about to be swallowed by the bigger fish. but it was more like we get to still function like a small studio, but with the access to the resources. This is what the brand director at Housemarque had to say, another studio that is owned by Sony. It is gearing up to release Soros, the follow up to a game that saw players reborn over and over again. And you guys already know what Returnal is. But industry insiders note that these studios remain dependent on the parent group's decision around hardware, especially in the face of Nintendo's success with the hybrid Switch, and are exposed to shareholder demands for continued revenue growth. Sony has recently said it will increase the price of the PlayStation in the US by roughly $50 due to, quote, challenging economic environments. This has led to fears that pressure on studios such as Team Asobi could lose what brought them success in the first place, a tightly knit 60 strong team able to work rapidly. I think that intimacy is really hard to replicate if you would grow to like 200 or 350 people, said Team Asobi's art director. The issue creates a dilemma for Astrobot Maker and Sony's other studios. How to be aligned with the Japanese group's wider ambitions while keeping its own distinct identity intact. So far, both Sony and studios are determined to maintain that balance. If the creative side started feeling ostracized or penalized between us, we'd have that conversation, said Team Asobi head Nicholas Doucette. That would definitely come to a boil. I love how that's the last line, by the way. That's the last line. Nicholas Doucette, bro. Doucette? How do you say his name? Coming in being like, yeah, things are gonna come to a boil if they start messing around too much. I see Luna's really just chilling out over here. So what do we think? The thumbnail's freaking you out, Carl? I'm sorry, bro. I'm not trying to freak you out. Oh my God, Chase. Holy shit, what did I just read? Lone Wolf Gamer, you're saying, MBG, I've been watching a Rad Brad doing a Delta playthrough, and despite what Digital Foundry said, I think it looks okay. Interesting. So, I feel like this write-up, I don't know, man. It's like, I just think this last paragraph here, it says the issue creates a dilemma for Astrobot's makers and Sony's other studios. How to be aligned with Sony's wider ambitions while keeping its own distinct identity intact. I feel like I want to talk about the live service a little bit more, okay? Because yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of Concord releasing. Guys, remember that? The launch of Concord, and then 2 weeks later, Sony closes the game, and then not too long after, shuts the studio down. Somebody mentioned earlier, like, imagine if there are more games that are going to get canceled. And it's like, you know what, man? I'm not trying to overanalyze this article or what Herman Hulst is saying or what Sony is saying, but I think we're going to see Sony put to the test very soon. You know, talk is cheap. You know how it goes. It's easy to talk. It's harder to walk. Basically, what this article is stating is a couple of things, you know, to kind of summarize it. It's Sony coming out here. It's Herman Hulst coming out here telling you, we did make a big mistake with Concord, and we've learned from it. And what we're going to do as we continue to make our live service games going forward is we're going to take what we learned and apply it to these upcoming games. So that way we don't have a similar situation occur. Of course, I mean, that makes sense, right? You don't really need them to tell you that, but that's what they're saying. And on top of that, he's saying that they're doing much more rigorous playtesting and overseeing, which I'm not sure. Like, there's almost an air here, by the way. I don't know if, again, I'm not trying to like read too deeply into it, but there's almost an air of Sony saying, like, the reason why some of these games have failed is because we weren't overseeing them. Like, we were too hands off. And I don't know. I mean, that could be true. We really have no way to prove that, right? But considering they mentioned Concord and they mentioned that in this article that, like, we got to have more oversight. It's interesting where it's like, so is the implication that something like Concord happens because you're actually not, like, you're just you gave them too much rope and just said, go ahead, yeah, I'm sure what you guys will make will be great. We're sold. I don't know. It's an interesting it's an interesting thought that they're, I read this as Sony is going to be tightening their grip. I read this as Sony is going to be paying much closer attention. They're going to be more hands-on with their studios, and I'm not sure what to make of that. I don't know if that's good or if it's bad, right? Because it depends on the context of just how hands-off were you previously, and who exactly is now going to be making these. Like, is it Herman? Like, is it Herman that's now going to be coming in and saying no? And yeah, they don't really make that clear. They don't really make it clear if it's with all of their studios or if it's only going to be certain studios. I mean, I'm assuming it's a broad stroke thing where it's like, yeah, it's going to be all of our studios. But like, you think about Naughty Dog, right? And it's like, Sony, well, I don't have to ask this question because the answer is yes. Sony is well aware of the public response to Intergalactic. They're well aware. And if you read this article, and if you do read between the lines, this, good luck, Neil, is basically, I'm not saying that's what Sony's saying, but Sony is making it clear that, like, you guys need to be profitable. You guys need to make games that are not only going to be franchises, but are going to make money and not fail. And that sounds like obvious, right? Like, does that even need to be stated? But I think really what makes this article so interesting is it almost feels like Sony basically coming out. And if I had to summarize this in just like a couple sentences, this is Sony basically saying, we are shortening the leash on our studios. We're going to give them the resources they need. We're shortening the leash. And if they fail, more responsibility is going to go on us now. Like, we are going to be more responsible for that. Right? And I'm curious what you guys think of this. Do you think I'm misreading this? Do you think I'm misinterpreting it and it's actually the other way around? Do you think this, because there's a lot of word salad in this article. Do you think it's possible that it's the other way around where they're saying, we're shortening the leash, we're going to be paying closer attention, but if they fuck up, that's still on them? Well, see, that's the thing, because even if it does fall back on Sony, because let's face it, the buck does stop with them. What does that mean? It still means that the studio fucks up, the studio's probably going to get shut down, right? Like, we look at something like Blue Point and Bend Studio. Bend, and maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is kind of what they mean. Is this Sony's way of kind of, subtly hinting that what this means is that if we get a Days Gone, we're going to go to Bend and we're going to say, you guys need to make a Days Gone too. Yeah. We really need you to do that. Because that makes the most sense. What this means is that when Blue Point pitches you a God of War live service game, you don't say, oh yeah, sure, okay. No, you say, no, that's not what you're going to do. We want you to make either a really robust remake of a game that makes sense, that will do well, that people have been asking for, or we want you to make a new single player IP at the very least. We don't see, it's so tough when I read articles like this because there's so much we still don't know. But I want to point out a couple of other things, right? I almost wonder if this article, and because you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this write up with the Financial Times? Sony's very, very particular about anything they say or do these days. And I feel like when you read quotes, like let's go look at the quote here um from Jason Connell, right? Where he says there were no boundaries enacted by Sony on how they developed the sequel. But if we're heading towards a giant landmine, like there's another studio making the exact same game, that's good information. So basically, what Jason's saying here, like I just find it interesting that they feel the need to put that in this article. Because why would they do that? Because it's like, okay, well, if you read this article, you might read it as Sony is about to tighten their grip, shorten the leash on their studios and start running them like with an iron fist. You might read it that way, where now we're getting serious about taking over. So we need to bring in somebody like Jason Connell, the head of Sucker Punch, to let them know, let everybody reading this know, we want everybody to know that we at Sucker Punch, we were allowed to do basically whatever we wanted. And the only thing that Sony would have said to us is, if you're choosing to make this game, just know that this studio over here, that we own, your sister studio, they're making pretty much the same thing. Just a heads up. I just find that, I don't know. I find a quote like that interesting in particular, or peculiar, because it's like, why is that here? Why do you feel the need to say that? Is it because if Ghost of Yotei doesn't do well, Sony wants, Sony's trying to kind of shift the blame a little bit? Like, well, that's Sucker Punch. That's what they decided to do. We told them it was okay. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like, well, you are the parent company. The buck will always stop with you. To me, it just comes off as they're trying to reassure people that, no, we're not going to, we're going to tighten the leash, but we're still cool. We're still going to, let them do what they want to do. And then you have, and this is possibly the most interesting quote of the whole article, where you have, the director of Team Asobi saying, if the creative side started feeling ostracized or penalized between us, we'd have that conversation, as in between the studio and Sony. We would have that conversation, and that would definitely come to a boil. Now, that's a very, very telling quote, because what Sony, you have to understand, Sony greenlights every quote in here, by the way. Like, they greenlight every word that's being said. It's run through multiple times before it's published. Sony said they wanted that out there. And that's really interesting to me, because that's Sony allowing one of their studio heads to say, if they don't like what we're trying to make them do, we will clash about it. Like, we will talk about that and sort it out. And I'm like, well, if that's the big quote from the director of Team Asobi, then what is the takeaway here? I'm actually asking you guys at this point, because again, I don't know if I'm looking into this too deeply. MBG, the thing that puzzles me is how Neil is still president of Naughty Dog, even though The Last of Us 2 didn't sell as well relative to its predecessor, plus the canceled factions. He's very problematic. Well, see, that's the thing. Right under what you said, Tarnished Irfin says, MBG Totoki is sitting there with an axe in his hand, waiting to hit every single studio that's not making money. And that's the thing. I feel like I'm getting this feeling that this is another, even though it seemed like, oh, this article is maybe a nothing burger, if you read into it a little bit deeper and read between the lines, I feel like this is actually, we're beginning to hear, oh, that's the age of Totokism right there. That's Hiroki Totoki, where you're beginning to hear some differences in the speak around things like their studios and their games and their products, compared to, what you would hear when Kenichiro Yoshida was CEO and when Jim Ryan was president of SIE. This has a very different tone, an undertone, or a tone that's underpinning it, right? Like it reads differently, it feels differently, and it very much reads exactly like what you're saying, Irfan. Like, um, you know, we're trying to be, Sony obviously has to hold themselves accountable where it's like the buck does stop with us. We give our studios a lot of freedom. We give them a ton of fucking money. And and basically because of this, like we're going to have to oversee them. I think one of the things that Hiroki Totoki wants to do is, again, he's coming from the CFO position. He's the CEO now. I think he's like, I want to know where every dollar is going. I want to know what the hell these studios are spending this money on and so much time on. And I want to make sure it's not wasted. I want to make sure each one of these studios is making profit and actually, not just bullshitting and losing us money. Not to say that I think that many of Sony studios are doing that, but like it does kind of also call into question like what Tarnish said a moment ago, which is like, can somebody like Neil Druckmann and his philosophy towards game design and running the studio, can somebody like Neil Druckmann survive under the age of Hiroki Totoki, of Totokism, where it's like, I don't know, man. They want to create Intergalactic, which is obviously an immensely expensive game. They have a second game in development, which it'll be curious to see what that is. But Neil Druckmann is at risk of losing Sony money. Like, that's the fact of the matter with Intergalactic. I'm not saying I think it will fail. I'm not saying I think it will even be a bad game. I don't know. We haven't seen it yet. All I know is that the first reaction to this game is as toxic as it gets. And when you consider just how expensive this game is, they're going to have to wow people. They're going to have to wow people. They're going to have to win people over. Some people are already won over. There are Naughty Dog fans. There are day one buyers, absolutely. And I'm sure this game will review well too. I don't think they'll make a bad game, but the question is, how much did this game cost to make? How many years has it been in development? How many units do you need to sell at full price to break even? Because I think for the first time in maybe forever, or I don't know how long, decades, Neil, this ain't The Last of Us Part 3. This ain't Uncharted 5. This is a new IP that people are fucking like not seemingly very happy about. Some people are, but a lot of people are looking at it like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I mean, it's like 500. Oh my God, I hope not. And that's why I'm saying, like, you see how things are going so great. Last of Us HBO, season 1, huge hit. Season 2, it's like, what the fuck happened? I don't know. I just wonder what the outcome is going to be. And I just get a sense. I just get a real deep sense with this write-up that it's like, it almost feels like Sony coming out and being like, we're wrangling this shit up. Like we're not fucking around anymore. And I'm not saying that's a good thing for us, the consumer, per se. It could be. It depends. But like basically they're just like, if something's not working, we're just going to axe it. Quick and clean. And just move on. And that's interesting to me because that's kind of the opposite of what has happened over the past 5 or 6 years. They've let way too many things linger. It's kind of like what you just said, right? Like how does a project like The Last of Us multiplayer get canceled after that long? Like it took you till like basically you're ready to release it and they're like, actually, on second thought. Digital Dude, you're saying, MBG, can we stop pretending that the backlash you see on Twitter represents real life? Well, no, there's nothing I'm really saying right now I would say is indicative of Twitter. Maybe a little bit with the Intergalactic stuff. And I'll be interested to see the sales of Intergalactic. But I just feel like a lot of this has to do with just the simplicity of, are you making money or not? Are you growing or not? Are you selling or not? And I do think that there are projects that Sony has in development right now that are at high risk of, so about that growth thing, We have PlayStation Pete, longtime member for 43 months. Thank you for that, buddy. Saying Dave Mustaine is retiring Megadeth. He will do one more album with a tour. He wants to go out on top. Yeah, I did see that. Interesting. You're saying, will PS5 exceed 100 million units since they raised the price? You should add a higher member tier to $50 a month. I would pay. I'll do it just for you, PlayStation Pete. I thought about that, and I don't know. I feel like I'd be pushing it if I did that. You know, I think I'd be pushing it where I feel like I'd have to offer something. The reason why I didn't do something like that is because I don't know what to offer at a $50 tier that would make it feel worth it. But I do think it'll hit 100 million. Yeah, I think it'll hit 100 million for sure. And we have Sarf London Geezer, a member for 11 months. Thank you for that, buddy. Saying 101K and growing. Smash the like. Yeah, it's slow growing. You know, I stream mostly, so it obviously leads to slower growth overall. And let's just face it, PlayStation is not necessarily in the good graces of everybody out there. So, you know, my channel's very much become like, if you're interested in PlayStation, maybe stick around. You know, if not, well, I think I get a lot of people that kind of come in sometimes, but aren't necessarily here to stay, which is normal. But thank you for that, buddy. Digital Dude, you're saying if that was the case, the PS5 should have been a flop. Well, here's the most important thing to understand when it comes to PlayStation success, in my opinion. The most important thing to understand about PlayStation success is that it can be undone. They're not immune. And they seem to be aware of that, mostly. Even though people think they're not, well, it's understandable why even sometimes I question, like, are you guys, like, do you guys know what you're doing here? Are you sure? I've seen enough that makes me think, oh, hold on.
Lady Gamer, Wes and Zero want to listen to the song before I go. If you don't, that means Cult dominated you in MGST, since that filthy game is also on XP.
Bro, what? We got the Richrod tax in full effect. We're gonna need 10 memberships. Oh my God, Richrod. All right, hold on. Oh my God, that is ass, bro. Not sorry, Richrod, not your song. Oh man, that's my just gut. It's all right. It's not like the worst thing, guys. Here's the cover. Hold on. Here's the cover art for the upcoming Skate game. Like, what the fuck, bro? Right? Like, I mean, if I look at it like close, like not. I don't, dude. There's, yeah, I don't really. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. It looks something about it is not right. The Fortnitification AI slump. Made in California, dude. I really want to try the Skate game, but I think they should have just went the Tony Hawk route. They should have just made it, you know, like they could have kept the art style, I guess, if they really wanted to, but doing like some sick ass trick or some shit, you know, front and center in your face. No, Jack, I agree. This is not offensive, but this just looks bland, dude. bland and generic, where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of understand why they went with it, though, because you got like 3 people skating. It's going to be a free-to-play MMO skate game, so they're trying to convey, like, you can play together. At least one of them is doing a trick, though. The guy in the green jacket, at least he's doing a trick. If they were all just riding, looks Concord marathonish. Skate cord, bro. All right. Let me see. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm a little bit anxious about this skate game because I've been waiting a long time for it, and I really like the original skate games. I just hope it's fun to play, man. I don't know. I don't need it to be. I don't expect it to be as good as the older games, but I just need it to be fun. You know. All right, Richrod, where's your song at? How do I find it? In the replies. Hold on. Snake hater. Don't make me regret this, bro. I swear to God. I gotta hear it myself first. Hold on.
Feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. I feel it, Metal Gear Delta, it's looking bad. Metal Gear, y'all fucked it up, y'all fucked it up. Metal Gear, y'all fucked it up, y'all fucked it up. I mean, come on, y'all. Konami, what the hell happened, dog? Dog, what is this shit? What? What happened to Snake Eater? The graphics are an eyesore. How is this a remake? Ain't nobody buy yours, Delta. It's going backwards, crawling like a baby, ain't walking like a master. Where the mechanics? Where's the gameplay? Why would I buy this when I can play the original today? I don't even want this as a giveaway. Rather take it to GameStop and sell it on layaway. Talk about Delta, but it's looking like a gamma. Cause ain't nobody hype for this. No, not a slammer. I ain't feeling the games no more. No Tony Montana, and I know you know the truth, so you can stop with all the slander. Get okay.
Oh my God, bro. What the fuck did I just hear, bro? Like, what did I just listen? Richrod, never again. I just lost like 40 viewers because of that shit. Oh my God. Bro just made an AI diss track of Metal Gear Delta. Oh man, I can't endorse it. I can't endorse it. It was kind of funny though. I have to admit, the part where he like started getting really angry and screaming and like yelling was pretty funny. Well, Richrod, that's a 20 membership tax because he made me play that shit. Richrod, you think the thing that you made was fire. Dark Cloud says that trash just made me drop my membership. Oh my God. Oh my God. Richrod's making people cancel their memberships. Oh, what are we doing? Send it to Konami. Khalifa says, I will be unsubscribing. Listen, all I'm going to say is whack, bro. That was AI, Leo Jimmy. Yeah. Have we really fallen this far? Wes says it was actually fire. I don't recognize talent. Oh, sorry. People don't recognize talent when they see it. The ending was kind of good. I think the ending was kind of good. It was okay. That's when he felt like it really started to go. I mean, it had a good beat, you know? Look, I'm just trying to be a little positive. That's all. It was a hell of a lot better than the crap put out by today's musicians. Okay, Rich, listen. If you're gonna do I know you're gonna do another AI song at some point. When you do one, can you please give me Concord, something about Concord and its failure, and make it sound like 90s rock, like 90s grunge, like Soundgarden or Alice in Chains, something like that. I don't know if you can make that happen. Now that I'll play. That'd be so funny. I'd be really curious to see what that sounds like. That's my request, Richrod. And make sure you mention something about Herman in there too. Concord and its failure, sounding like 90s rock? Yes. Rudy says you can't hate on Concord. It was too good. Oh, man. Well, I'm curious. Let me, I did see that this was posted on Reddit, by the way. Oh, we have an interesting leak here, by the way, from Windows Central. Windows Central is reporting that Forza Horizon 6 will be announced at this year's Tokyo Game Show. So, just look forward to that. We have Digital Dude with a very generous $50 super chat. Digital Dude, thank you so much for that, man. He says, why is there always some type of gloom and doom with PlayStation first party? With Astro, it won't sell because it's a kid's game. With Yote, it won't sell because it's not Jin. Now it's Intergalactic because it's not The Last of Us 3. So stupid. Yeah, well, see, I've been trying to figure this out myself, Digital Dude. I feel like the internet can be a fickle thing sometimes, and it can be difficult to understand because I feel like a lot of the times the internet is not representative of the reality. I think most of the time when you read the negativity on the internet in regards to a certain product, or in this case, certain games, it's just not indicative of reality. On rare occasion, though, and this is why I'm always, for people who wonder, like, why do I still pay some attention to what the internet has to say? It's because there are those rare instances where actually the internet is right. Now, again, it's rare, but that is why I think about Concord, because Concord was like one of those instances where if you read what people were saying about like what was going to happen to this game on the internet, they were 100% correct. Like not even like 50% correct, where it's like, some of what they said was true. Like, no, they were dead on. And there are instances with other games on occasion where we do see that. However, a lot of, you could make the argument that even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? It could be that type of situation where there are going to be games that are going to fail. There are going to be games that are not going to do well. And, when that happens, you're going to see a certain group of people, You know, they're going to be like, I told you, see, we were right. But then they're wrong about 6 other things, 7 other things, 8 other things. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of it, Digital Dude. I know that what you say about there always being some kind of doom and gloom with PlayStation first party, I don't know how to really fight back against that anymore. And I think I've basically given up attempting to do so, because I've tried to have conversations, and to be fair, there are people here that engage with those conversations in a good way. And I appreciate that. In fact, a lot of you here right now have engaged with these conversations in a mostly productive and mostly healthy manner, where I've basically went a little bit on the defense, where I'm like, you know, unpopular opinion, this is not the worst PlayStation generation. Unpopular opinion, Sony actually has put out some really great games this generation, and I don't think the games department is necessarily where they're lacking the most, you know, which goes against, you know, what a lot of people say. I do it too sometimes, Digital Dude, and I guess the reason I do it is because I try to keep an open mind, and sometimes that can be a bad thing because maybe I'm too open to the things that people are saying. And sometimes I do have to put in a little bit of extra effort to like disconnect from that and realize, actually, wait, that's kind of stupid. Like a good example is how I kind of realized I almost caved to the intergalactic hate, when in reality, there's nothing there to hate. Like Naughty Dog didn't give me a valid reason to be upset. You know, they didn't. The worst thing I could say about Intergalactic is that it doesn't look that exciting to me, or, you know, I'm not that interested in it. That's the worst thing I could say, right? And that's not bad. That's just, I think that's normal for a lot of people. If you see a cinematic, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to see more though. But the way I saw people reacting to it, you know, where it's like, again, like, oh, there's a bald chick that I'm playing as. Or, you know, Neil Druckmann is making another woke fest or whatever. It's like, I get, and I'm like, listen, you guys who are hating and going way off the deep end, you could be right, but you have no proof. You have seen the same amount that I've seen. And what I see is, okay, it looks like it has potential. Looks like it may not, like for me, it might not hit the spot, right? I'm not sure yet. All I know is that I'm going to try to be reasonable about it and say, well, there's a couple things I know about Naughty Dog. They're very talented. Their games have really good gameplay. And, you know, this is a new IP. So with that in mind, I'm going to just wait till they show it before I judge it, you know? And there's just so many people in regards to this game specifically, and also Ghost of Yotei, although not so much now because we've seen a lot of it, but specifically with Intergalactic at this point, where they're just like, nah, like it's trash. I'm like, oh, okay. Like the furthest I can go, and this is the problem these days with people, man, it's like if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. The furthest I could go is it could be trash. It might be, you know, but I don't know that. And what kind of person would I have to be to just definitively tell you and state that, no, it is trash? At least without seeing some gameplay first, right? Like a proper gameplay reveal. I feel like what people are really saying is, I want it to be trash because I want my hate and my disdain to be justified. That's what I think a lot of people, that's what they project. And I don't like that, because that sucks. Like, it's easy to just hate on everything, right? Like, that's too easy. That's the easiest thing to do. It's easy to just be blind and love everything and not give anything any criticism. And it's also just as easy to hate everything. It's easy to fall into the extremist camp. What's difficult is to actually think. Like, think. Really think for a moment, or a couple moments, actually, in the case of some people. That's difficult for too many people to do for some reason. And it's why I end up just feeling like I need to disconnect, or at least I have this desire to want to disconnect from any of the conversations happening, because it's like, yeah, I do get frustrated sometimes. Not to you guys, but just to the general internet, where it's like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm done. Like everybody sucks. Everything sucks. Why am I like, why even care about any of this? Because it all sucks, right? It all went to hell in a handbasket, apparently. But I can't do that because it's like, no, that's not true. That's just not true. Just like you said about Astrobot, man. Like, we can't even enjoy a game like Astrobot and celebrate a game like that because you got dipshits on the other side or just, way out there in the fucking deep end screaming at the top of their lungs like, Forza outsold it, bro. It's a sales failure. It's a kid's game. Like, it's that type of shit is just like, go away. Like, just go away. Like, how could anybody, like, you shouldn't be allowed in this community, like the gaming community, because you're just garbage. Where it's like, bro, if you're gonna hate on something like Astrobot, at least put some thought into it. Sit there and be like, you know what? I think, like, there were people where they were giving criticisms to Astrobot saying, I think it ripped a little bit too much off from like Mario or something, and they were showing comparisons. I'm like, all right, well, at least you're trying, right? Like, at least you're providing something, Richrod saying world premiere, Concord Affair, new 90s track hit under your concept art tweet. Okay, I'll play that in a little bit. I'm actually curious to hear that one. I'll play in a little bit, Richrod. Hopefully it's not as bad. Hopefully it doesn't make 50 people leave the stream. And that's what I mean, Irfan. Is like, it's a great game. It's a well-made game. It's something different from Sony in a sense. And, people who give criticisms to something like Astrobot, where it's like, I think it's too much of a nostalgia fest. Like, it relies too much on the nostalgia and celebrating other games. And I get that. Like, those are fair criticisms. It's like, that's valid. Yeah, I could totally understand if this game doesn't appeal to you or you're not as excited about it because of that. That's totally fair. But I don't see people. Those are the people that are not. Unfortunately, people who are having reasonable criticism and reasonable takes, they get drowned out by the extremists, by the maniacs that just can't stop yelling. And I don't know how these people have as much reach as they do. And I just hope that's what changes one day, where it's like, yeah, man, Sony is basically ignoring, and it's not just Sony, by the way. Most of these corporations are beginning to ignore, not, I want to say entire communities, but they seem like they're disconnecting more now than ever because, dude, they're not able to separate. They're probably having a hard time now as well separating the feedback from, like, the valid feedback and the valid criticisms from the genuine people who care, from the bad actors who were just trying to stir the pot, and rage bait and create drama. And this is why you likely see these corporations, again, it's not just Sony, you're seeing it across the board. They're just referring more and more to their numbers, to their spreadsheets, because the numbers don't lie. The numbers won't distort anything. The numbers will tell you if you're going in the right direction or not. The internet is unreliable. And I say this because I'm here, I'm part of it, and I see the shit. I see the shit that people say and do. And I see how, people will treat something, they'll crucify a game for like one mistake or one problem, or at least some people will try to crucify that game, and they'll make it seem like this is the biggest problem in the world and everybody needs to know about it. And then literally 2 days later, they'll move on to something else. But the damage is done. It's just, this is what I mean about, like, what I was saying earlier about, like, the Metal Gear stuff, where it's like, I think I get frustrated because I see that happening in real time. Like, there is, like, Digital Foundry, I don't think they did anything wrong at all. They just did their job, where they just gave a unbiased, clean report And honestly, they probably contacted Konami. Digital Foundries went on record numerous times saying that the biggest reason they do what they do, especially early on, is so they can notify developers and let them know, like, hey, here's what we found. And that's valuable to the developers and to the publishers. Um, you know, I don't know, man. It becomes a bit much, you know? Exactly. Konami gave them the code, Irfan, right? It just becomes a bit much where it's like, in the case of PlayStation, I'm going to go over a couple of things that I think we really should be concerned about. Not a lot, but things that I think could end up being major failures from Sony. And these are things that I don't see people talking about, which is crazy. That, like, to me, that's the part that's wild. Is I see people out here being like, for example, even today, Digital Dude, I see a post from PlayStation, the official PlayStation Twitter account, talking about Ghost of Yotei Legends. And it's just them posting the blog post and saying it's free DLC coming to Ghost of Yotei multiplayer 2026. And I know it, like, I'm not saying it matters that much, but it clearly is like, if you click on that and you read the replies, 50% of those replies are people going out of their way to, for some fucking reason, tweet at the PlayStation account like, nah, this sucks. I won't be playing this garbage. Ghost of Wotai, no thank you. More DEI slop. Just like shit like this. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Who are you people? And why are you allowed to have a voice at all? Because it's like, what are you doing? Like, they're fucking, if anything, you should have the opposite feeling where it's like 4-player co-op where you can play as the cool, beastly, manly man with a gun. Like, they showed that off. Isn't that cool? Isn't that right up your alley? No? Has nothing to do with the main character, Atsu, right? No, they don't. And that's where you realize, like, there is no nuance. There is no depth. There is nothing beyond just the singular hive mind mentality where we either love it or we hate it. You're either with us or against us. There's no in between. There's no room for that. It's either one extreme or the other. You know why? Because the people who are profiting the most right now have made it this way. I don't know how they did it. I don't know when it occurred. But the people who decided, we got to appeal to the I don't want to say the lowest common denominator, but like the simplest of human emotion, which is either elation, this thing is so good it's going to get you high, or this is the worst thing ever. It's doom and not doom the game. Like, it's just doom and gloom. And I'm going to tell you every day, why you need to continue to hate this thing. And my question to those people is always the same thing. What happens when it goes away? What happened when the big thing that's such a big problem for you and that you are telling everybody it's got to be a problem for them too, when that problem's corrected and is no longer a problem, what does that mean for you? You know what it means? It means your profitability dries up. It means you're going out of business. That's what it fucking means. They know it. That's why they will always move on to the next thing. They'll always move on to the next thing because they know that's exactly what will happen. And that's why these corporations seem like they don't give a fuck anymore, because they're out here, again, looking at all this happening in real time, reading their spreadsheets. And in the case of Sony spreadsheets, we just broke a record for the most amount of revenue made in gaming. Our profitability is up like 127%. Everything's growing. Everything's doing well. Concord was like our only major, like, huge mistake so far. And, we wrapped that up real quick. Got single player games. We got multiplayer games. We got Helldivers 2. Got good hardware. Got a family of devices. Got accessories. Got 80 million consoles sold. This is what they see. And it's like, if you were to read, like, dude, I put out a post on Twitter where I said, sum up PlayStation Sum up the PlayStation 5 generation in 3 words. And I'm telling you, if you want to see the biggest, I mean the biggest disconnect from reality versus the internet, go read the replies under that post. Because if you just go into that reply section and you read the hundreds of replies, you will walk away being like, dude, Sony is in the fucking gutter. They're done. PlayStation's done, bro. The PS5 is trash, garbage, worst generation ever. Like, don't even look at it. If you were to, if you were to read that, you would think that. But it's like, it's quite literally. And I have to emphasize the word literally. I'm not being hyperbolic. It is literally the opposite of that. And this is why I'm like, bro, how am I supposed to be mad at Sony? Like, I mean, really mad, where it's like, you guys are really fucking up. And it's like, are we though? It's the same thing with things like, like, I mean, even though we talk about The Last of Us Part 2 not selling as well, it still sold very well. That's the irony of it, is it still sold better than like 90% of games. So it's like, was it really a failure? I say this as somebody who didn't like the story of The Last of Us Part 2. It sold over, probably by this point, like 10, 12 million copies, and it's the most awarded video game of all time. From Sony's perspective, they don't deem that a failure. Does that mean that the internet outrage is any less? If you tell the person that has a burning, seething hatred for The Last of Us Part 2 and Neil Druckmann, it's the most awarded game of all time, and it sold really well. It sold like better than 90% of games. Does that matter to them at all? No, it doesn't. And I'm not saying it should, but to assume that Sony should just say, you know what? That guy over there, I was going to just say a random name, and I'm like, there's probably somebody in this. 0 Point, bro. I'm just going to use 0 Point. He said that The Last of Us 2 is the worst game ever made. So none of that matters. We got to get out of here. We're done. Wrap it up. Like, if you want to know why Sony is willing, or Leo Jimmy says The Last of Us Part 2 is the worst thing he's ever witnessed. It did actual real damage to his brain, bro. Like, his mind is damaged forever. It's over, If that's not, but the opposite is happening. You know what I mean? Like, Sony, they're like, wow, Naughty Dog, The Last of Us Part 2 sold 10 to 12 million copies. It's the most awarded video game of all time. Shit, man. All right. What do you guys want to make next? And that's how something like Intergalactic gets made, because Sony trusts them. And it doesn't mean Intergalactic can't fail. I said earlier that it could, like, Neil Druckmann could screw up, but Sony's going to give him that opportunity where it's like, yeah, we don't deem The Last of Us Part 2 a failure. We actually deem it quite a significant success. So it's not the most awarded game anymore? Which game surpassed it, by the way? They're just going to be like, look, man, we're going to let you do another one. Now, if Intergalactic fails or like really drops down, then you'll see Sony be like, whoa, what's going on here? We weren't paying attention. Oh, Elden Ring is? Okay. That makes sense. Though Sony will go up to Neil and be like, listen, we weren't really paying much attention to the ratios, to your, you getting ratioed with your trailers and the disdain. We weren't paying attention to what the internet was saying, basically. Because we went through this with The Last of Us Part 2, but now actually this game's struggling. This game is not selling as well as The Last of Us Part 2. Not even close. We have a problem. Like, if that happens, you will see things change. Sony will bring the action because they have to. But You know, I just think it's like people wonder, like they look at Ghost of Yotei and they're like, Sony, you fucking ruined it. And it's like, bro, do you not understand that Ghost of Tsushima was a colossal hit that Sony was not expecting it to be? They're going to trust Sucker Punch at that point. They're going to say, okay, Sucker Punch, do your thing again. And make no mistake, if Ghost of Yotei like fucks up and is like, this thing's selling like 1/3 the amount, and it's clear that like Ghost of Tsushima was like a one-off, and suddenly Yotei's like some kind of failure, which I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be at all. But if that were to happen, you will see Sony, Sucker Punch, we got to talk. This is a problem. Not because the internet said so, but because we're looking at the results. We're looking at the P&L charts, and we're looking at the sales numbers, and yeah, we got to talk. And that's where it's just like, I question a lot of people out there, right? Just generally speaking, where it's like, I don't get it. If you loved Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, if you really liked that game, what is there to really, truly despise about Ghost of Yotei? You know what I'm saying? Like what's there that's really like got you like, I can't even look at this game. I don't want any. To me, that's so shallow, though, Zero. The chick. Like, I mean, really? Like, that's crazy to me. I could understand if you're like, I'm less excited because I really like Jin that much. But to take it as far as like, this sucks, dude. This is lame. That chick's lame. Atsu's lame. Sony's lame for this. I'm like, bro, I feel like if you really are in that mentality, like I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. It's like, so you're gonna allow yourself to potentially miss out on this awesome gameplay experience that's probably even better than Tsushima's because of that? I don't know, man. I look at that and I'm like, I don't think that's the play, man. And we have a Digital Dude with another $10 super chat. Thank you for the support, Digital Dude. You're saying here, I knew these anti-woke grifters had no substance and were just repeating what they heard when they said GTA 6 will flop because it has a playable female character. Oh, yeah, dude. See, it's funny you mentioned that, Digital Dude, because I started to pick up on that a while ago, where I think that the anti-woke crowd, it's like I said, there's some things they point out where it's like, I think you're on to something, and I think you might be correct about this. But then you realize that, oh, wait, I think you guys are just a little crazy too. Because it's like, they point out a couple of things. It's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And that, like, think of it like this. You have an extremist party pointing at the other extremist party saying, look at this bad thing they're doing. And then you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's not good. Why are they like that? Just to realize that the group that pointed that out is also just as bad, just on the opposite end. That's what I realized, is that, like, yeah, there are some things going on in the industry, from the the woke crowd or whatever, or the extreme liberal crowd that's involved in gaming and so many Californian studios. And it's like, yeah, there's definitely some weird shit going on that is going to have to be tamped down, because it's like, you guys are veering into extremist weirdo territory, and we don't need that. We just need good products. Remember what we're doing here, and as that starts to get snuffed out and taken care of, you have the other people on the other side of the extreme end now, and they're like, now we're going to take over. And it's like, of course that's how it's going to happen, because it's like, in order to undo all of this damage that was done by this extremist group, we have to have the other extremist group come in and do the polar opposite, and that'll balance everything. And I'm just like, well, we could just not do either of it. It shouldn't be hard, and yet it's so fucking hard for people, and I hate it. I hate it, man. It's so annoying. It's so annoying because it ruins so much shit for no good reason. Like they say, I always go back to this. It's such an old-fashioned saying, but it's so true. It's just one bad apple spoils the bunch. It's true, man. It's true. Not saying the middle ground is achievable every single time, but it just shouldn't be this difficult. And yet it seemingly is for so many groups of people out there, for so many products. You know, I think that there's a lot of people who, if I'm being honest, like they just, I think that there's just a lot of people have to do some soul searching, you know? Saying politics ruined everything. Well, that's a lot of it too, right? I mean, I'm not trying to get political on the channel or anything, but it's just like you do see it's made its way into every, like, dude, you know something crazy's going on when I'm seeing, I kid you not, I just saw people blaming, like, I didn't see anybody angry at Sony for the price increase. The blame was placed squarely on Trump. And I think it's understandable why. You know, that is clearly what happened. You know, we are in a trade war, and it's clear that that's, you know, a major part of it. But I just thought that that's such a crazy timeline to be in, you know, where it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, what's going on? You know, like, how did we get here? Well, let me see. Saying the intergalactic actress is really attractive if you see her on other social media. Sure, her fragile masculinity post was annoying, but she thankfully came to her senses and deleted the post. Well, that's the thing, man, is like, it's good that she deleted that, and she should have, because the idea is like, it's about holding the mirror in front of somebody ultimately, where it's like, if this little like if seeing what the anti-woke people don't realize, and this is like, this will be their demise in the end, and it's becoming their demise, is that if you don't understand that all Neil Druckmann did was show you a trailer for an upcoming game, a 4-minute cinematic, and all you can do is freak out about the gender and the look of this character because she has a shaved head and because it's a woman. If you don't realize that you just fell hook, line, and sinker for the bait, and Neil Druckmann you just proved him right. You just proved all of them right by getting upset at that. It goes to show that too many people are too stupid to realize that, like, bro, if you want to take something down, that's not good. Like, that's the bait right there. Technically, that's the bait. They're banking on people exposing themselves, on like self-reporting, basically. You know? Lux says, whoa, they never said the gender, MBG. Don't assume. You're falling for the bait now. Oh, shit. They got me. No, but I'm just saying, like, you got to wait. You got to wait to, like, if you really believe, like, I know what they're doing, I know what their agenda is, then let them show you. Let it come out. Because if what you're saying is true, it will present itself. And when it does, you'll be there to point out and say, I told you. See? But you get too many people, they're like, they don't understand. Like, you're just, you come off, kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Where it's like, she fucking shaved her head. Oh my God, The Last of Us, you know, it's woke. It's Naughty Dog going woke again. It's like, chill. It's just like I told people. I saw this, I witnessed this happen with Ghost of Yotei. Now, granted, I haven't played Ghost of Yotei yet, and I could be wrong. And if I am, we will have a conversation. But I remember when the Ghost of Yotei trailer was revealed, the very first one, last September, people were screaming woke. They were going crazy. And I'm like, guys, you don't know. And they're like, no, look at her social media posts. Look at the actress. And I'm like, I don't care about her fucking social media posts. What I care about is the writing in the game and her character in the game. And if she does her job. If you tell me that the actress contributed to the writing of this game, I would be concerned, because it's like, whoa, okay, now I do need to pay attention to her posts on social media, because she's clear, she's a political activist. And I'm like, what does that mean for the story? Luckily, she's not. She's an actress who's paid to act. That's what she does. So I don't get, whatever her personal politics are, whatever, bro. I want to know, how does this story unfold? Because you got a lot of people out here that are falling for the bait. And at least I think they're falling for the bait. Where it's like, something tells me that the story of Ghost of Yotei is not going to be some kind of crazy, woke, like, oh my God, woman power type shit. I don't get that feeling. If it is, we will have that conversation, because if that is what it turns out to be, then yeah, that's going to make for a very weak and, that's going to be a super uninteresting and weak story. The gender shouldn't matter. If the writers are like, no, we're making it matter, that's a problem. But everything I've seen so far, I have not seen a single thing in the marketing of this game that indicates that's the direction they're going in. I haven't seen it once. And I'm going to laugh if I play this game when it comes out on October 2nd and eventually I beat it. And I'm like, dude, that story was fucking awesome. These characters are awesome, and Sucker Punch killed it. I'm going to laugh if that's the outcome, because it will prove in real time that tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, pure sheep following the herd, I'm going to assume because they told me to assume, and it's exactly what you said, Digital Dude. I remember reacting to an entire fucking video about GTA 6 from this well-known anti-woke YouTuber who spent 30 minutes letting me know how, well, this is what I heard about Rockstar, and look at what they're doing. Look at this person's resume, and look at this person's hair color, and look at the changes they made to their studio. Meanwhile, they show the fucking first trailer for GTA 6, and there's ass everywhere, bro. It's like, you got strippers. What the fuck? You people are stupid. You're fucking stupid. I don't know how else to say it. I can't be polite about it anymore. It's like, it's in your face. It's in your face, bro. You're wrong. You're proven wrong. But something tells me you're just going to keep on trucking. Something tells me you already moved on to the next thing. They already moved on to the next thing. I bet you. I guarantee you they already moved on to the next thing. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. The people that I'm calling stupid are the people who are truly blinded. I'm not saying this means we should give everyone and everything the benefit of the doubt. That's not what I'm saying. You need to keep your wits about you. You need to keep your reason about you. It's just I am tired of the worst types of people, for some reason, having the most influence. This is what I'm tired of. Well, I mean, look, Captain Hook and Leo G, I'm going to read your super chat, but it's like, Captain Hook, listen. If GTA 6 is woke, do you understand? Do you know how far out of their way? Do you know how egregious it would have to be? Where it's how bad, really, what do we need to do here to make this quote unquote woke? I mean, it's I don't think it's even possible, dude. I don't even think it's possible. Because it's you would have to undo the literal DNA of what GTA is. Now, granted, I had this feeling I remember I told you guys that I think they're going to try to go a little bit more. They're going to try to be a little bit more mature with the story of GTA 6, where it's going to be a little bit darker, maybe something closer to like GTA 4, but I think they're going to try to take themselves a little bit more seriously. And I do get that vibe. And I think that's awesome because it's looking great. The story of GTA 6 seems like it's going to be a banger, Bubbles come out of the guns instead of bullets. Richrod says, I hate woke, but I tried to defend Concord at first. Well, that's what I mean. Concord didn't just fail because it was woke, but Concord wore that on its sleeve. And that's the problem, where it's like, you guys are worried about pronouns on robots. You got bigger problems to worry about. And this is just another nail in the coffin. Not the final nail. The final nail's going to be your overall character design. But stuff like Dragon Age Veilguard and stuff like Concord, these are things that when they present themselves, it's not that they're presenting just so you know, I'm a left-leaning liberal that worked on this game. It's not that. Well, it kind of is that, but it's that, but in a hyper, I want you to understand that right there defines this game. That is at the center of what this game is, and we're going to make you aware of it throughout the entire experience. That makes people want to vomit because it's like, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? Who cares? Just make cool characters in a cool fucking universe with some cool gameplay. And shove your pronouns. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit that this fucking trash can has pronouns. Why are you showing me this? Who cares? The fuck? I just want to play the game, man. Tell me why this character's cool. Tell me why I should care about this character. That's the failure right there, is that you get these people who are oriented with a mindset where it's like, that should be the center of it, And it's like, why? You need to be worried about the fact that your character's lame as hell. You need to be worried about the fact that your character's lame as hell and people don't like what you're showing them. That's what you need to worry about. But I don't know. A lot of these environments where the stuff is made, and it can go the other way too, right? Where it's like, I don't want Republic in the game either. I don't want that shit either. I just want, I don't know. This is where I want normal fucking people who are not consumed by politics. I want those people to be making the shit that I'm going to consume, because that to me is, their mind isn't, hyper fixated on that. It's true, man. The politics have ruined so much of it because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, even right here, right now, it's made its way into the stream where it's like, you cannot escape it. And I'm tired of it, dude. It's like, I get it, man. It all sucks. It all sucks. With that being said, we got to listen to that Concord song. The last piece of advice I'll give people, I feel like this is the best advice I could give, is just think for yourself. And I know that sounds so simple, but what that really means is just be willing to hear different sides. Take in different things and apply what Bruce Lee applied to his philosophy in life, and his philosophy that was geared towards his own martial art styles. Take what's useful and discard what's useless. Because believe me when I tell you, you could run the gamut. You could run the gamut and hear everything from everybody. And so much of what you hear is going to be good and useful and applicable. And actually, let me write that down. That's pretty good. But just as much, if not even more, of it is going to be what is that? That's useless garbage. How's that going to help? Anything. And you have to just be willing to hear all of it and separate the worm from the apple. That's what it comes down to. It can be daunting because the more open you are to listening, the easier it is to get overwhelmed. And I say this as somebody who does listen a lot. I talk a lot, but I do a lot of listening as well. And I do a lot of reading. And it can be very overwhelming. And I don't blame anybody for just wanting to shut it all out, because it's like, what the hell, man? All right. We have Leo Jimmy with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. He says, honestly, MBG, Jin was the weakest character in Ghosts. I liked his uncle, Rizzo, and Khan, the archer, the monk, the old archer. You could have replaced Jin with anyone in the first game. Ghost is still a banger. And that's a great point. I want to give a shout out to what you're saying here, Leo Jimmy, because you're right. I like Jin as a character. I actually really did like him. I thought he was great. But these other, like, you're right. His uncle was a fantastic character. And like, you can't deny that his uncle made like half of that story to a degree, you know? And like you're saying, yeah, Lord Shimura, dude. If anything, that's why I wanted to see a sequel, because I kind of wanted to know what the canonical ending of Ghost of Tsushima was and where that would have left. Yuna was a great character. The dynamic between him and Reizo and their friendship, and the Khan was such a great villain. Dude, I think, yeah, they cooked, man. They fucking cooked. This is why I'm very excited for Yote, man, because they cooked, not just with Jin, but the entire cast, man. And it's interesting, Leo, because I do wonder how many other people would consider Jin maybe the weakest character of the bunch. They earned, yeah, well, that's what I mean, Irfan, right? Like, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And, you know, if we look at the other side of that with Intergalactic, people are like, well, MBG, you didn't like the story of The Last of Us Part 2. So why would you be willing to give Naughty Dog the benefit of the doubt with Intergalactic? And that's why I always tell people I want to see the gameplay, because the gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, in my opinion, is incredible, like S tier. I love it. It's phenomenal. So if the story aspect of Intergalactic is not the strongest to me, I don't think it could be bad. You guys know why I didn't like The Last of Us 2 story and why I consider it bad, right? But in order for Intergalactic story to be bad, it would have to be fucking bad. Like, it would have to be like, this is the worst shit I ever, like, this is cringe as hell. I don't think it'll be that. But the gameplay, on the other hand, if they cook with that gameplay, and this is a more gameplay-oriented title, which apparently it's going to be, that's why I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because they've never, in my opinion, Naughty Dog has never let me down with gameplay. So, yeah, when it comes to the story and the characters, I'm a little bit more hesitant. Maybe that's why the first trailer didn't really speak to me that much. Where I'm like, okay. I just really want to see the gameplay. Show me that gameplay. Then we'll talk, you know? All right. We have, I requested this for Richrod, or from Richrod. Which one did you post it under, Rich? Dude, I'm laughing because I got it, Rich. The Concord Affair. Dude, I'm laughing because you put it under my Twitter post where I put out the concept art images of some upcoming. Wait, Rich, before I play this, I got to ask, is this like inappropriate? Because that's like the only thing I'm nervous about. No, this is one I requested. I asked Richrod to make an AI song that sounds like 90s rock, but about Concord. So I hope I don't regret this. Oh, and before I do that, though, I got a direct donation, just a straight up tip for $4 from Bichurda. Hopefully I said that correctly. Bichurda1, thank you for that, buddy. And we have oh, here he is. He comes in with as soon as I said that, he comes in with a super chat as well. I am saying that wrong. Butcher Da. Butcher Da? How do you say this? Butcher Da. Butcherda. I'm going to get hung up on this now. It's Butcher Da 1. So Butcher Da 1. Okay. All right. I'm picturing hearing the rooster from Alice in Chains singing about Concord. Oh my God. He says here, Ghost of Yotei and Intergalactic will be good. I'm pretty sure Ghost will. Intergalactic, I still want to see some gameplay, but Naughty Dog's a talented studio. I think people still keep forgetting that. Da as in the Irish way saying dad, or like da as in Russian, yes. All right, here's the song. Let's check it out. Bro. You know what? I'm probably going to get a copyright because it's going to, the algorithm's going to think this is real music. All right, Richrod. So I saw people in the chat. They're like, yo, this is like Friends level rock. So we're going to have to get a little bit more specific. Rich, I have one more request. All right. Here's my request. Assuming you're still here. I want another one about Concord. I want it to be kind of like depressing. I want you to use the bands, type in like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Okay. And I want it to be kind of sad and depressing or dark, you know, foreboding. And you need to get Herman Holst in there. I really want to know what that sounds like. Like, I want it to sound like Soundgarden made a song about Concord, and it's like really depressing and dark, or like Alice in Chains. You know, like the way Alice in Chains sometimes sings about drugs and how it ruined their life. I just want that, but like Concord, you know? Or you could do something metal. That'd be interesting too. But, oh man, the Concord affair. Irfin's dying. Maybe new metal? Dude, oh my God. Yeah, maybe like a song about Herman Holst, but Limp Bizkit, like PlayStation's leadership in general. It's just one of those days when you don't want to play games. Every game sucks. Oh, dude. Oh my God. Could you imagine him putting the input? Yeah, typing in the input like a middle-aged Asian man accent for the singing. Oh my God. You know, man, y'all better stop. Y'all gonna make Concord go viral. Sony's gonna get the wrong message and bring it back. Oh my God. Keep blowing, 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 blowing into the controller. Oh man. I love music though. I love music. Like, I have to admit, even though we're still not quite there, it's funny listening to these AI songs. It is. The thing that creeps me out is when you hear AI songs that are trying to be like, you see there's like AI bands topping the charts now. Like, that's freaky to me. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, AI bands actually sounding so good and doing so well. And it happened to me. Like, I came across a couple songs on like YouTube Music. And I'm like, this is pretty good. And I looked into it. There was like this, it was supposed to be like this band. It was almost like a country rock band. And it was like a war veteran singing about, I don't know, like PTSD and stuff, and like being a broken person or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is deep. And I looked into it and I'm like, I'm pretty fucking sure. Like, there was a description of who this person was and everything else. And I'm like, this is AI. Like, this isn't a real person. And it freaked me the fuck out. I'm like, because I heard the song first and I was like, man, this is pretty good. I really feel for this guy, you know? And it's like, it wasn't even real, man. And I felt really like, that was the first moment with AI where I felt very like, whoa, this is weird, you know? Because it wasn't something silly. It was actually like real or trying to be real. But I don't know. AI taking over? Perhaps. They tricked you, MBG. It's over for us humans now. Well, to be fair, I had a feeling when I was listening to it. I'm like, it was generic sounding. I will say that. I'm like, there's something about this. It's very surface level and generic, but it's got some depth. It's got some level of depth. But it did sound convincing. It did. Like, I didn't necessarily detect anything that made me think like, oh, that's not real. But that's actually what made me look deeper into it, is I was just looking it over. I'm like, the names of the songs, everything seems very surface level and very generic in a sense. And that's when I was like, I got to go. I'm like, who is this person? And I looked deeper into it. I'm like, oh, this isn't a real person. Someone made an entire AI Drake album and it sounded extremely convincing. Oh, shit. MBG, do you think we will get Saros or Heretic gameplay at the rumored PlayStation show in September? I think we will for sure get Saros gameplay. I don't know about Intergalactic, but I feel confident with Saros simply because they did confirm we are getting gameplay this year. The gameplay reveal is coming this year, and the release is coming in 2026. So, yeah, Ray, I'm confident in Saros gameplay sooner rather than later. MBG, are you ever going to buy an extended SSD so you don't have to keep deleting games? It's finally worth it. I don't need it. I don't need it, especially with the Pro, dude. The Pro has more than enough storage for me. Richrod says, okay, I'm going to post something under the same tweet soon, MBG. Yeah, dude, anybody on Twitter who doesn't tune into my streams, they're just going to keep seeing Richrod posting these fucking random ass songs being like, "What? Who is this guy? This is an AI. This is a bot." Rich Grok. Roch Grok. Lux, you have 4 terabyte? I do, yeah, I would buy the PlayStation Portal before I buy an SSD. I don't necessarily have a need for either, but I could definitely get more use out of a Portal. Well, because my whole thing is, like, when I'm done with a game, I delete it. I don't, like, if you were to look at my, my PlayStation UI, there's just, like, a couple games there. You know, if I kept all the games that I played there, I mean, it would be totally filled up, but I don't know. I've thought about doing that, but I'm like, I don't know. If I'm not going to play the games, why would I guess it would be to just, kind of look at it. You know what I mean? Kind of like I look at the games on my shelf or whatever. Yeah, I imagine some people don't uninstall it just in case there's a chance they go back. They don't want to have to because some of these reinstalls can be crazy. They can be crazy. All right. I got Richrod making me more AI music. Oh, here we go. Here it is. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. This is the latest banger apparently from Richrod. He took my instructions, I believe. Let's see. Bro, it's like fucking porn already. Bro, what? No! Yo, wait, hold on. Hold on. MacTube. Oh, no. I don't think I can keep playing this. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't think I can keep playing this. Well, because MacTube was like, dude, I think you're risking your channel getting like maybe shut down over this. I don't know. Dude, you know what? Fuck. It sounds, yeah, I don't know. Well, I gotta worry. So I'll give you guys some context. I'm very nervous about playing anything AI. I know it's AI music. It's not real music, but dude, like, I got a warning from YouTube. I got a warning from YouTube. It was actually it was a strike. I got a strike from YouTube, which is like that's the worst thing. Not now, but I got a strike from I was reacting to an AI video, and it broke YouTube's terms of service. And like, yeah, it is really fucking problematic. And I just got really scared. I just got really scared that I don't know. I don't know if it now I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Well, see that's the thing, Petrov. Like you're saying, I played Soundgarden on the channel. If I like open my stream and I play a Soundgarden song, that stream automatically gets copyrighted. And what that means is that I can't monetize it, or any money that the stream makes goes to the artist or the if not the artist, the publishing label. I don't know what the rules are for AI. Like fuck. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may have to just straight up delete this stream. I'm scared. I'm scared. Yeah, the legal precedent isn't set yet. I'm just scared of getting a strike, dude. Because 3 strikes and YouTube deletes your channel. Yeah, because it sounds good as shit. Like in good in the sense that it's fucking sounds real. Like it sounds like it's replicating actual bands. I only ever got 1 strike, and there was a warning. You get 1 warning and then 3 strikes. So you have to keep doing it in order to really get to a point where your channel's deleted. But I think you only get 1 warning. Fuck. MBG, all I know is that you can't claim ownership over pressing a button for an AI software to generate a huge song that's made by thousands of human-made songs. Not yet, anyway, right? Not yet. Well, keep in mind, guys, like I'm on your side. Like I don't see a problem with it per se. It's not real, but I don't know. I just don't want to. I end up getting really unlucky in these situations. I'm with Irfan. Yeah, I don't want to risk it. I owe that AI song. You pay me. Well, yeah, I remember when I got that strike. I was really confused. Like I was really because I was like, I don't understand. It was in a members lounge, and I was just reacting. I was just reacting to a random AI video, and the channel that made that video got deleted. Uh, I think I know what did it. I'm not even going to say what it was, just because I don't know. You know, it's my livelihood here. Yeah, no, the channel was straight up deleted, bro. Like removed by YouTube. Like the entire channel, I think, like somehow like broke the terms of service, and I'm like, oh my god. And because I played it on my, this is why like I want to have fun and I want to like loosen up a little bit and have a good time, but every time I do, I get fucked, bro. Like I don't know how, but I do. And it's just like I don't know if I'm just that unlucky. Like I remember even just recently we were doing some uh Death Stranding gameplay, and I was just playing some music in the background. Now maybe I had the music too loud, but for like the first 8 songs, it was fine. And then just suddenly I kept getting warnings from YouTube where it's like, we're detecting somebody else's audio. Stop playing it or we're going to shut the stream down. And, you know, I'm like, oh, well, I, I don't know. It's messy. It's messy, you know, like make a new stream maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Fuck, man. What I might have to do, I may have no choice. Do the strikes ever go away? I never had it, but it sounds scary. They do go away, so like the warning, which is basically the warning is like your first strike. That took like 4 months to go away. So it takes a long time. Um and it tells you every time you log on to YouTube that you have one. And so it kind of lingers there. And it feels like shit, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's scary and it does make you feel like shit. And I'm like, I don't like this. Um, but that one really freaked me the fuck out because I even like wrote to YouTube. I was like, I don't understand. Because they showed me the video. They're like, here's the content. And I was looking, I'm like, what did I do? And I'm pretty sure I discovered and they didn't let me know, unfortunately. They just were like, no, you can't appeal it. Like you're just gonna have to like okay. But I was like inspecting the footage closely and look, all I'll say is that there was basically a scene generated by the AI. It was, I think the video, it was like Harry Potter, the first movie, but AI ruins it. And there was like this one scene involving a fireplace. And you can maybe infer what happens next. And I think I realized, like, like I could see how that technically breaks YouTube's terms of service because of what it showed. It wasn't like graphic or anything, but it's just like, you know, if you know about Harry Potter, you know, like in the first movie, like they're kids, so it's just like, yeah, AI, generative AI. But yeah, I'm sorry, Richrod. Well, at least yeah, I don't know. At least we heard one or two, but yeah, this stream might have to get deleted after this. I'm not sure, and I may have to be a lot more careful because I don't want to risk anything, man. I think I've risked too much, too many times. That's what's fucking crazy, dude. Is like, but you know what? You know what's crazy? If I were to pull up any other YouTuber's video and like I'm gonna react to that, that would be fine. Music is really a yeah. Music is really where the it just feels like they're, I don't want to say behind, but they just run things differently. It's fine, ABG. This was one of your worst streams anyway. Thanks, bro. Well, I won't lie to you. I was this close to not streaming today because, dude, there's not. I mean, we've talked about pretty much all of the news, and this interview with PlayStation or this write up from the Financial Times is the only thing that I saw that I'm like, we got something here, you know, we got something here. So, but really nothing big. MBG, don't you feel some kind of anxiety when you see or watch some AI generated photo or videos? There's something so wrong about them. It makes my skin crawl. I literally feel my hair stand up. I know what you're talking about. I guess it's that uncanny valley situation. Um, yeah, when you can tell it is something, just even Devil Shooter, I think it is. Yeah, I don't think I want to risk it, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm kind of scared shitless. Just because I realized, I don't know why I didn't realize it, but I realized the last time I was reacting to something AI made, my channel got a strike. So I think just for the safety, you know, the old saying, better safe than sorry, I think is the one that's going to be applicable here. Um, well, that's the thing, Perfect Image. I can't mute the parts manually. It's worth noting, by the way, I want to let you guys know this too. That members lounge that got struck, it was months later. That's another really freaky thing about it, by the way. It was literally months later. That's why I was truly perplexed. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this members lounge was up for months and it was fine. And yeah, it freaks me out as a content creator where it's like, damn, dude, I don't really feel safe out here, man. Like it got me kind of worried. Like, what else could be lingering in past content that somehow is just going to come out of nowhere and sing in your dashboard? God damn, dude. They come after you like a BT. Yeah, man. It's no joke. Well, we can chat here for a little while longer, perhaps, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about it. I mean, perfect image, you're saying I could delete it or not delete it. I could mute it. Maybe. I know that YouTube has a built-in editor. I wonder how sophisticated it is. I haven't looked into it too much. Maybe I could check it out. See if it lets me do that. I mean, maybe I'm just worrying over nothing. Maybe nothing would happen. You're cooked, MBG. They're the songs that I created, though. How does that work? I don't know. I think we're just in uncharted territory, Richrod. I think that's what it is. With the introduction of AI and it becoming so sophisticated so quickly. Tom Henderson just posted, I can confirm that these documents have been floating around for the last week or so. There's one massively disgruntled employee at Xbox. The reveal of the next installment of the Forza Horizon series is fast approaching, according to multiple reports. Forza Horizon 6 will be announced at Tokyo Game Show 2025. First reported by Windows Central, which says it has seen documentation suggesting this. Forza Horizon 6 official reveal is expected next month. The report comes from Windows Central. The report from Windows Central was corroborated by Nate DeHate, who also added that he's not sure if the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game is in the works. Tokyo Game Show runs between September 25th and 28th. Do you think it's going to be a, PS5 reveal too? You think I should make a new stream and take this one down? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Murphin says, get some tea and relax. Nothing has happened. Your channel's good. The fuck is that noise? Hold on. Oh my god. No. It was Leia. She was sleeping and she was doing something weird in her sleep. She was making this crazy weird noise. Like it was so loud that I was like, what is that? Where's that coming from? Yeah, today's a strange day, man. Weird day. My anxiety. I got that Pedro Pascal anxiety, you know what I'm saying? Dude, the memes. The memes, man. So damn good. We have Texan American Gaming, a member for 16 months. He said, well, thank you for that, buddy. He says, just be like Activision. You are too big to fail. LOL. Nah, I get it, man. You work too hard to let the channel go down. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just have to be more careful. I always do this, especially during slower news cycles. I always get too lax, and in members lounges at times I get too lax, and I got to be a little bit more careful about what I choose to show or play on my channel. Just because a lot of it is, I always do it every time, and I get too relaxed. Did I talk about Evo? Was there news about Evo that I missed? The Richrod tax needs to go up. Maybe a separate channel. That's a thought. That is a thought. I do have a separate channel. It was supposed to be Mrs. MBG's channel, but we kind of decided against that. Original MGS3 streaming now. Oh, you mean like I should play the original Metal Gear Solid 3? I thought about that, but I'm like, nah, dude. I'm 2 days away from the remake, and I'm just gonna, it's 2 days. Sony sold Evo. Oh, it sold its Evo shares. Oh, I didn't hear about that. I guess Sony's no longer confident in it, or maybe they weren't really making money or something. Huh. I feel like the timing of that is kind of weird. Corn's coming at me. That's funny. That's delayed. I mean, they're making Marvel Tokon, so I feel like the timing's a little strange. MRPD, no, I still haven't heard anything about a day one patch. Nothing yet. They sold it to a company that they have a vested interest in. Okay. They're still sponsoring it, and they're invested in the new company that's taking over. All right. Okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say, like, I feel like, that was kind of they made a big deal about the Evo purchase. So it's kind of weird that they would just be like, never mind. What do I lose if the video gets copyrighted? If it gets copyrighted, that's not a big deal. If it's just a regular copyright, I can just trim it. It gives me the option. That's the only time I see the option to trim it out or mute it. So I'll leave this up for a little bit after and see if it gives me that option. But I'm just saying, if it disappears, if this stream just disappears, you know why. I'll mess with YouTube's editor, see what I can do. I feel like I tried to do it one time before and it was giving me a lot of problems. I think YouTube's editor is not very good. But what we could do is maybe just, if that's what happens, obviously I'm going to be streaming all throughout this week. I'll just talk about this topic again. Not as extensively, of course, but just like, hey, in case you missed it, here's the write-up from Financial Times. Here's what Herman Hulse said. But the assumption is that we're going to have more things to talk about. But I will let you guys know on Tuesday, I'm just doing a Metal Gear stream. Tuesday, it's all about Metal Gear. So go to Twitch and kick F YouTube. Well, I did do Twitch for a little bit, but most people here, they're used to YouTube, Nate the Hate says Forza Horizon is going to be set in Japan. That's what we've been hearing. Yeah, Forza Horizon 6. God damn, Wes. No, I'm probably not going to be streaming Helldivers 2. I haven't played that in a while. When I do, yeah, I have the digital deluxe version of Metal Gear Solid Delta pre-ordered, so I'll have the 2 days early access. So, that's why I'm going to dedicate my Tuesday stream to being Metal Gear, and that will be public, by the way. I'm not going to make that members because I know a lot of people have been waiting to see that. I'm hoping a decent amount of people show up. Oh my God. Dude, why is my chat always so unhinged? You're putting Snake in that skin-tight sneaking suit ASAP? I bet you are, MRPD. You'll be playing Gears of War Tuesday? Yeah, I do have a physical version that I purchased, but again, I don't know if I'm going to play it. I had to buy it physically just to collect it. That's a must. Am I going to play Fox Hunt when it releases with subs from the channel? I'm curious about that mode. The answer is hopefully yes. I 100% will be playing the Fox Hunt mode when it comes out. I'm not sure how it's going to work. They did say there's no crossplay. So I don't know how that would work. But if they make it easy enough to do so, I would like to. That'd be cool. No, luckily, Richrod, I don't lose that. Anything that if people like if this stream were to get deleted, like if I were to delete this stream when it was done, anything you guys donated, I don't lose that. I probably should clarify that. So like if you donate anything, it still goes. I still get those donations. They're not just deleted or wiped away or anything like that. Same goes with like any ad revenue. That was not that I get much ad revenue on streams, but you know what I'm saying. Bring out your MGS suit for the stream. The hair, the dress, the headband. We'll see, Irfan. We'll see. I don't know if I have the camo anymore. I don't know what happened to it. Also, that camo that I bought was way too big. Yeah, I even had the eye patch, and that was a mistake because I couldn't see shit. Yeah, I broke that out for the last PlayStation showcase. Start smoking on stream too. Get some cigars. No, it's all good, Richrod. You don't have to retire. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And I don't even know if anything's gonna happen. So don't stress over it. I don't mean to stress anybody out. I'm a little bit overly cautious at this point. That's all. I think I heard of that game, Black State, supposed to be Metal Gear inspired. MBG, what is a PlayStation showcase? I'm not sure anymore. I feel like it used to be a nice big show that PlayStation put on that we'd all get really excited about. These days, I don't know. I can't remember. Based on the leaks, Lost Soul Aside is a 30-hour-ish game. That sounds pretty good. Sounds about right. What, it's a $60 game, too? Not bad. I don't want to get that deep with it, Chase. Yeah, I don't know about that. A showcase of play. Slop show. Tune into the Sony PlayStation Slop Show 2025. Lone Wolf Gamer says Gears and Delta for me gonna be a good week. Dude, yeah, there's so many games dropping this week. There was gonna be more too. I remember what was that game? Dying Light the Beast was supposed to come out. And that got luckily delayed to September. But then you have Silent Hill F coming out, what, the first week of September? MBG, if you didn't know, the last state of play was met with mostly elating applause from people. Yeah, I was a bit disconnected from the last state of play because a lot of people were thrilled with the final announcement of Marvel TOCON, and I definitely was a little bit upset because that's not what I was hoping for, and that didn't get me excited. Probably just because now that I'm removed from it, I think the game looks good. I'll probably try it out at some point. But just that was definitely not what I was expecting. To be the closer of the show, you know. So I definitely overreacted to it a little bit, maybe a lot. And I was like, oh, yeah, people really did like that state of play. But if Sony does a state of play in September, I mean, I would assume that they're going to have a pretty good amount to show. I mean, again, we're supposed to be getting Soros gameplay. We've been hearing about this new game from Santa Monica for a long time. We've been hearing about that 2.5D God of War side scroller that has yet to be announced. There's multiple live service games that have to be revealed. Marathon has to be re-revealed. You know, Who knows what's going on with Blue Point or Sony Bend? Fire Sprite. Yeah, man. I mean, the list kind of goes on. So there's so much there that it does feel like, man, Sony definitely could hold a showcase. But I do feel somewhat confident in saying that even if they don't do a showcase and they do a state of play, they'll probably have a decent first party presence. Yeah, Venom and Wolverine, things like that. I mean, it again, the list just kind of goes on, man. The only thing is knowing that quite a few of those unannounced projects are live service titles. That makes me really nervous. I'm not going to lie. Whether it's a state of play or a showcase, when LFG Studios Project Gummy Bears is revealed, when, the Horizon Online game is revealed, when we see this stuff, I'm genuinely nervous to see not only what the game is going to look like and what it's going to be, but also how the gaming community is going to react to it. Because I just have a bad feeling, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And it's funny because LFG Studio stands for looking for group. So that's crazy to me, Wes. That's crazy. You're saying Wolverine was announced 4 years ago. Hopefully we get more news soon. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was sitting there watching the 2021 PlayStation Showcase. That's crazy, man. Where's the time go? Where's the time go? I can't believe we're this far into the generation. That Wolverine trailer was more like a job listing. I mean, basically. Yeah. Wolverine showing up would be incredible. I mean, that game, I still have a lot of hope for. I remember MBG was screaming, this was worth it. MRPD, you're saying, I don't care about them wanting to cook more. We have been more than patient. It's time for them to show something in September with Wolverine. I can agree with that. I feel like we've waited long enough. I mean, at what point does it just become like it starts to look like they're just afraid to show it, right? That's an idea, MacTube. I guess it would just be tough because I wouldn't know when to separate it. You know what I mean? Chase, you're saying Wolverine is a meme now. MBG, why don't you stream another video game? Is that what you're asking? Like, I should stream another game? I would, but like I said, Tuesday stream will be dedicated to Metal Gear. So we're very close to another gameplay stream. I think Little Devil Inside is vaporware at this point. Yeah. I'm thinking it's vaporware. I'll tell you what, Irfan, if we do get a PlayStation Showcase next month, I would feel pretty confident that Wolverine would show up. Yeah. I don't think if you're PlayStation, you can do another showcase and not have Wolverine there. And maybe that's why they would save it, right? It's like, because when we show it, we want it to be big. We want to show a lot. I mean, they could bring the roof down with a proper Wolverine re-reveal. If they wanted to. If they wanted to. They could do it. That's why I think they reworked everything, Tarnished. I think that's why it's taken so long. Not everything, but a lot of it. I think they reworked. Do you think Saros is going to get its own state of play like Ghost of Yote? I could see it, yeah. Well, Little Devil Inside has not been officially canceled, but yeah, I think that game's, if it hasn't been canceled, like, without an official announcement. I think it's gonna be a long time till we see it. I don't think we'll have to wait for the Game Awards to see Saros gameplay. No, I don't think we'll have to wait that long. I mean, I feel like that's no, you can't do that. I think so. I think next month we see it. They still have it on their website for Little Devil Inside. Oh wow, huh? That's funny. Let me see here. What's the name of that unicorn game? I actually don't know. Sorry, it seems like my my YouTube studio is crashing again, and it's gonna have to refresh. Did it crash yet? Nope, not yet. I'll just do it myself. Let me just refresh it, see if it fixes it. Rich is not feeling good. Give him some positive energy. Rich is like, damn, guys, I feel terrible. No, Rich, it's all good, man. Rich, just drop 50 memberships and all is forgiven. I'm just kidding. It's all good, dude. Don't worry about it. I don't think you did anything. That's too positive. Yeah. The Black Ops 7 trailer has 400,000 dislikes and only 50,000 likes. And the top comment is, "This actually made me pre-order Battlefield 6." Damn, man. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? That's rough. That's pretty bad. You think it's cooked? Battlefield 6 will do gangbusters. It'll sell more than BF6. The last Call of Duty to get this reception was Advanced Warfare. I think it was Infinite Warfare. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's going to be so funny, dude, if this is the beginning of the end for Call of Duty. And Silent Spartan. Silent membership monster Spartan, bro. That's so funny. That timing is incredible. I just made a joke to Richrod. I was like, Richrod, drop 50 membership gifts and all is forgiven. And literally 2 minutes later, you come in, Silent Spartan, and drop 50. You're saying Infinite Warfare was actually amazing single player wise? I heard that. Yeah, dude. I heard that. They had some like really talented single player devs. I think one of them was actually from Naughty Dog. And apparently the story in that game was great, but people just did not like the setting and they didn't like what they were seeing with the multiplayer. That's a shame. But Silent Spartan, bro. W's, bro. W's in the chat. Absolutely huge. Holy shit. Drops 50 membership gifts and brings us up to 75. He's going to make sure I get my reps in again today. He's always making sure I get my reps in. By the way, I did, I'm starting. I don't know. We'll see if I stick to it or not. But I'm, at least with squats. I haven't started with the push-ups yet, but starting to do that thing where I'm doing like 100 squats. Just body weight for now. I'll let you know how it goes. So far, I think I might have to do more though. I'm not sure because I'm not really feeling very sore. Feeling like a slight soreness, but nothing too extreme. Tarnished is happy. Tarnished received a membership. Boss, you want more treats, bro? Did you even get any? Prince, or sorry, not Prince G. Piper says MBG Call of Duty's not cooked. Most people don't follow gaming social media, and they'll never see the negative comments. Well, that's the thing is, Infinite Warfare still sold. At least I think it sold like 10 million or something. I don't know. It still did fine. But I think it's just compared to other Call of Duty game standards. I think that's what people are thinking about. Infinite Warfare did ship with the remaster of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Here, boss, I'll give you a couple more. And so we don't know how much that helped it. There you go, man. So I don't know. I think Call of Duty is probably still going to do just fine. Sold 1.8 million copies in its first week. That's crazy. That's so funny to me. I see 3 people all in succession on my chat. 0 Point, Infinite Warfare was great. West, the campaign was good. Spartan and Infinite Warfare was awesome. That campaign was underrated. And then Richrod's like, Infinite Warfare was so bad, man. I think that's the thing. People didn't like the wall running or the jetpacks in the multiplayer. And a lot of people felt like it was trying to maybe replicate Titanfall in the multiplayer aspect. That's crazy. That's a shame. I probably should eventually play Infinite Warfare's campaign. Because I've played almost... I think that might be the only Call of Duty campaign I didn't play. I know that sounds insane. And it makes me feel insane because you guys are saying it has the best campaign. I think that was the only campaign I didn't play. There has to be at least another Call of Duty campaign I didn't play. At least one. Right? That's gonna be, dude, that's gonna be the only Call of Duty campaign I haven't played. I played that one, Advanced Warfare with Kevin Spacey. I remember playing that. Call of Duty's always had pretty good campaigns overall. They've never had a campaign that I thought was like, wow, that was trash. I think the worst one in the minds of most people is like maybe Ghosts, if I can recall correctly. Right? Yeah, everybody's already on it. Ghosts. The multiplayer in Call of Duty Ghosts was okay. I mean, I have a soft spot for the original Call of Duty Black Ops campaign. I love that one so much. Black Ops 1 is like one of my all-time favorite games, dude. I just had so much fun with that title. That and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I played World at War. That was fun too. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a Call of Duty hater at all. I'm the opposite. I've been playing Call of Duty for damn near 20 years at this point. I can't deny that, like, I was kind of excited for Black Ops 6, you know, and it got a little bit long in the tooth. But I remember when Black Ops 6 was first revealed last year, I was like, oh, this looks good. They're going to the 90s, kind of going for that kind of classic Black Ops feel. And I feel like when I look at Black Ops 7, I'm not trying to hate on it. I'm just like, I don't feel anything, man. Like, at all. Like, I don't feel anything. Like, in fact, one of the biggest reasons I'm probably going to buy Black Ops 7, well, they are doing zombies again, and me and Mrs. MBG like to play zombies, so there is that. But they're saying that your shit can transfer over. They're doing, I guess they're doing what they did with Modern Warfare 2 and 3, where like all your stuff carries over. That's my understanding anyway. I'm like, all right, well, I put a good amount of time into Black Ops 6. And so it's like, if my stuff can just go with me, maybe, that makes me feel a little bit better. But what I'm confused about is I'm seeing people complain about that. I'm seeing people saying that they're unhappy that they're letting you transfer over your stuff, and there's seemingly like an outcry for Treyarch to not do that and to start fresh. And I'm very confused by that, where it's like, why? Why? Don't you want your stuff to go over with you if you're going to play it? That's weird, Universal Gamer. You're saying you've been a member for 21 months, but you still haven't gotten a milestone. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Huh. Maybe it's bugged. Did you play Call of Duty World at War for the PS2? No. That if I recall correctly, I was playing on the 360. I didn't even know that game released on the PlayStation 2. What? Did it? Wow. Wait, hold on. Modern Warfare Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare didn't release on the PS2, did it? And we have Orange Crush Gaming, a member for 63 months. Orange Crush Gaming, thank you so much for that incredibly long time support. And you're saying here with your milestone, I just beat Mafia the Old Country. Great game. My game of the year now. I'm moving to Death Stranding 2 and then Silent Hill 2. Oh, man. I've been hearing good things about Mafia. I want to play that at some point. I've been hearing some pretty good things. I don't know that it'll be my game of the year. And Orange Crush, you're saying that Mafia is your game of the year. You definitely got to let me know. Get back to me when you beat. So what's interesting is you're saying you're going to play Death Stranding 2 and then Silent Hill 2. Last year, Silent Hill 2 was my game of the year. This year, Death Stranding 2 is my game of the year, unless something else takes it over. I don't think that's going to happen, by the way, for me anyway. But you'll have to let me know if your game of the year changes after you, assuming you beat Death Stranding 2 and Silent Hill 2 this year. You'll have to let me know because those are some incredible games, dude. I am struggling so much with the platinum for Death Stranding 2. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, I keep getting to a point where I'm like, I think I'm just going to stop. But then I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, you have 25 facilities done. A lot of facilities are almost done. You got, it's not that it's hard. It requires persistence and patience. It's not difficult. But what happens is sometimes I get into a rush where I'm like, come on. Like, I just got to get to this destination and deliver these damn packages. And the moment you do that, I'm running in the rocks, I'm going over cliffs, and I'm just destroying the packages. And I'm like, okay, I'm literally setting myself back here. So, IBG, it's Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts PS2 version. It's a different Call of Duty game. It's not the same as the 360 PS3 versions at all. Wow. Mafia the Old Country is such a great game. If you want a beautiful, quick game, it's for you. Just got to chip away at it. Oh, man, we got, dude, Silent Spartan's talking to me about the Zipline network. Where's Garrett? He's doing the same thing. Him and Garrett are like, you got to set up the Zipline network, bro. It just seems like it's going to take so much time to do that. I'm like, I'll just keep going with my off-roader. The off-roader is really good, especially now that I have the all-terrain tires, but I won't deny that, like, the biggest downside of the off-roader is you gotta have a perfect feel for it, because just even hitting a small rock going too fast, it will damage your cargo. And that's happened to me so many times where I'm like, how? Or if you even just get a little bit of air and come down, damage cargo. I'm like, come on, bro. Coffin board I tried to use, and I think I like blew up multiple times. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Well, that's interesting, Spartan. You're saying that saves you literally hours of time towards the platinum. Well, yeah, God, you're probably right. it's daunting. The idea of setting up a proper zipline network seems daunting to me, because that probably is the fastest way. If you can set up, so like my question is, if you're setting up a network of zip lines, are you talking about setting up, I mean, like across the entire map of like Australia, or just at like certain points where you travel there and then you start using the zip lines, and then maybe go to another section, you set up zip lines, and then so on and so forth? Or, I mean, are you talking about literally taking just a few hours to set up a complete zip line network across the entire map? So that's it. You're just zip lining back and forth from every facility. Because if that's what you're talking about, that scares me, because that sounds so daunting and time consuming in and of itself. But it also sounds like if you can do that I feel like that makes the game easy mode at that point. I mean, like truly easy mode. Just take a PCC with you on your way to deliveries. Just get out and place them every so often. That's actually a good idea. I didn't think of that. Holy shit. I should do that. You don't have to do it for everywhere, just the points between the ones you're trying to level up. Just finished the impossible side mission. What a trip. Khalifa says they're trading in their copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Why? Did you beat it already? Oh, that's going to be... You have to let me know how that turns out, dude. That's crazy. So you are going to have a zipline network across the entire continent. Holy shit. I feel like that probably gives you such a great sense of like, this is the definition of beating this game. I can just literally... You're basically flying. That's what's crazy about the zipline networks, is if I can imagine if you set up an effective zipline network across the entire continent and they're all perfectly connected, you're basically flying at that point. You're just flying across the map. Because that's the one thing I kept thinking to myself with Death Stranding 2 is like, what if you could fly in this game? And you know what? If they do a Death Stranding 3, I think that's what they'll add to it. Because I just 5-starred the aeronautical engineer, and that's what he's working on. At the top of the mountain, he's trying to, he's trying to make it so humans can take flight again. And you know what? Since I'm bringing up Death Stranding 2 again, I'll read this to you guys. Let me see here. Where's it at? Kojima did say something about Death Stranding 3. It was translated. So Genki Japan reports. So it was Kojima's birthday yesterday. He's 62 years old now. And he says Hideo Kojima says he has already written the concept for Death Stranding 3, but hopes that someone else will make it for him. I'm not planning to do that, Death Stranding 3, at the moment, because the ending of Death Stranding 2 was my finale of part 1 of 1 and 2. But I already wrote the concept for DS3, so I have that in data. I hope that someone will create it for me. What are we thinking, guys? Why do I get the feeling that Kojima's going to end up making Death Stranding 3 anyway? He won't be able to help himself. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but come on, if you beat Death Stranding, there's like a major tease to a third game in such a big way where I'm like, oh, that kind of caught me off guard a little bit. No spoilers. I'm just saying. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where there's a definitive conclusion where, like he says, he wraps up 1 and 2. It's like, okay. But then he teases something where it's like, but if I want to make a third, here you go. Right? It's like, oh, okay. Because at least that's a feeling I got. Death Stranding to the moon. He's going to make it. Oh, yeah, Jake, I think you're right about that. You're saying the new Black Myth game is going to be a PlayStation 6 title? Probably. Yeah. I mean, they just shipped it on Xbox now, so... MRPD, that's a wild sentence, bro. Death Stranding 4 on Mars. I mean, dude, I can't deny, like, Death Stranding it's such a... it's such a damn good, like 1 and 2, but especially 2, especially since I'm still playing it. It's such a damn good game. Like, I don't mean to keep talking about it, but I guess it's because I'm still playing it. It's just there's really nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. And yeah, I don't know, man. This year's a special year. Um, the idea of playing Death Stranding 2, and I told you guys that story, and the story of Death Stranding 2 means so much to me, and it's going to be so crazy to in a couple days play Metal Gear Solid Delta and re-experience that story. That story means so much to me as well. And God, it's going to be hard to get through Metal Gear Delta because it's going to be an emotional experience. There are just moments in Metal Gear Solid 3 that it takes me back, and there's certain quotes from that game that, you know, my cousin he would recite to me constantly. Every time we talked, he would say the same quotes over and over from that game. And so it just lives in my head. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, dude, that's why I'm gonna be tearing up playing MGS3, man. I'm gonna have to do the salute. It's gonna happen. We have the Universal Gamer with a super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. He says, "Let's pretend this is the milestone. I can't wait for Ghost of Yotei." Well, thank you for that. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it, man. Yeah, Ghost of Yotei is coming up, and man, I just feel like we're eating good. We're eating good. You got Death Stranding. You got this week. I mean, shit. What are we looking at? I want to get the list of all the games. Final week of August. Sheesh. Yeah, so we're looking at Gears of War Reloaded, Helldivers 2 for Xbox, Destiny Rising. Wow, I didn't realize Destiny Rising was coming out for mobile as well. Do you guys know that? That's going to be a big one. I'm not interested in it, but Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. There's a bunch of other games I'm not even naming. I think there's like smaller ones too, obviously. Lost Soul Aside. Oh my God. And then going right into September, dude. Metal Eden, September 2nd. Hell Is Us. And Hollow Knight Silk Song, September 4th. Star Wars Outlaws for the Switch 2. Forgot about that. Chronos The New Dawn, September 5th. Oh my Lord. NBA 2K26. Garfield Kart 2, All You Can Drift, September 10th. Yo, what? Borderlands 4, September 12th. Why did I think Silent Hill was coming out the first week of September? Let's see. Dying Light the Beast, September 19th. You know what's crazy? It says here Slime Rancher 2. PS5, Xbox Series. The full release. I feel like Mrs. MBG loved Slime Rancher 1. She loved that game. Got addicted to it. She didn't like the sequel too much, though. I gotta ask her why. I'll let her know about this, though. Wonder if they changed. Because it was in early access. But we have Silent Hill F, September 25th. EA Sports FC 26, September 26th. Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition. Oh, wait, hold on. This is that PSVR 2 game, right? What's the difference? Does this mean you can just play it normally? You don't need VR2? Jace is still in shock. MBG, did you see the game science interview they did? I didn't check it out yet, no. It's been hard to keep up with all the interviews. There's so many coming out of Gamescom. Oh, yeah, Terminator Dark Fate. Did that get delayed, though? Hold on. So Silent Hill F is September 25th. Got Final Fantasy Tactics. So Ghost of Yotei, October 2nd. Borderlands 4 for the Switch 2 on October 3rd. Battlefield 6, October 10th. Oh, man. Little Nightmares 3, October 10th. Pokemon Legends, ZA, October 16th. Jurassic World Evolution 3, October 21st. Ninja Gaiden 4, also the 21st. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, 21st. Persona 3 Reload for the Switch 2, October 23rd. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, October 23rd. Hell yeah. That's day one. Fast and the Furious Arcade Edition. What? Wow, man. Arc Raiders. Wow, I forgot about that. That's coming out October 30th. Oh, yeah, okay. So Terminator 2D No Fate, that comes out October 31st. I'm pretty sure that was slightly delayed. Wait a second. PUBG, November 13th? For PS5 and Xbox Series X? Oh, wait. They're re-releasing PUBG? I thought... Hold on now, what? I thought it was just getting an update. PUBG console will move to current generation November 13th. Players can download the new version on PS5 for improved performance, graphics, and stability. Oh, let me see if they have a PUBG PS5 physical copy. There's no specific physical copy for PS5. Well, I don't know. What do you think the chances are we get a physical PS5 copy since they're moving it over? No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because I think the improvements, any improvements that are there just for the PS4 Pro, they should definitely do it. If they do a physical copy, I'll buy it. But it is a free-to-play game now, so I'm thinking they're not going to do that. Got Black Ops 7, November 14th. SpongeBob, Titans of the Tide, November 18th. Stalker 2 comes out for PS5 on November 20th. Jeez, man. You know what's interesting? There's like no games coming out in December. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 games listed for a December release, which is kind of shocking. I think that's like the lowest amount of game releases I've ever seen for December. Not a bad thing, though, because December can be a great month to catch up on your backlog. Yeah. Will already knows. Well, I'm very stoked for a lot of these games. And there's no denying that some of these games I'm going to be late to. I mean, I read at least 6, 7, maybe even 8 games that I want to play. Irfan says, MBG, we're eating good. You really shouldn't care about Twitter. Tons of accounts over there, just AI bots. Just enjoy games. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I still can't get away from using Twitter, just in the sense that, I have a large following over there, and I just try to post some questions sometimes, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard not to get wrapped up in it. I got to do a better job. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if you're somebody who enjoys video games, I feel like you there's got to be something here that you're into. Is it weird that we got through the summer game news and December doesn't have much? It's definitely There's definitely way less coming this December than previous Decembers, that's for sure. Twitter's only toxic if you let it be. That's true. I mean, there are certainly days where it's not, because it really is just dependent upon how you use it. It's like a tool, you know. It's a double-edged sword ultimately. I mean, you got to master it. And God knows I haven't. I don't know. Some days I feel like I'm getting better, but then other days I'm like, maybe I'm not. You're saying no, Twitter is objectively toxic even against your will. Well, that's not entirely true, because like, if you can engage with Twitter, it depends on what you're trying to use it for. Like, I think for me, there's basically two things I want to use it for. The first is gaming, like breaking gaming news and information that maybe I'm sure websites will cover, or even Reddit will cover it, but it might be a little bit late to those places. Twitter, a lot of times, is good for being the first place to get that breaking news. That's the one good thing it's really, um, that's the one thing it's really good at and good for, I would say. The problem, at least for me, is that Twitter's also, it is a social media platform, so it's very good at trying. It'll show you like, here's the news from this outlet or this company or this person, and then okay, you scroll past that. It's like, now we want to show you more. Here's what this person said, and it's like, well, I don't want to see that. It's like, okay, well, what about what this person said? And then it's the longer, basically the trick is the longer you stay there, the more unnecessary it becomes. If you, at least for me, if I'm going there for news. The second thing I try to use it for is just, to try to engage with people somewhat, ask some questions. I know some people don't like that because they're like, it's engagement bait or farming or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm just trying to keep my Twitter relevant to some degree, because I'll be honest, like, I don't really care to give my opinions out on Twitter anymore, because that, to me, that's when I'm veering into that's when it becomes toxic, because it's a guarantee. It doesn't matter what I have to say on Twitter. It's going to be met with snark. It's going to be met with people getting upset. Um, so to me, it's like, I'll just reserve my opinions for my streams and, my audience here. Uh, I don't think it's necessary for me to have an opinion on Twitter. Sometimes I still do, though. But I notice that Twitter goes smoothly for me when I'm just using it more as a tool and not actually trying to use it so much for the social aspect. I still do read what people say, at least in some of my replies. I try to make sure to look over what some people are saying, but, you know, still trying to master it. The art of Twitter. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, wow, we just hit the 3.5 hour mark. Let me see here. Okay, we're still good. You have a Twitter account where you only follow gaming sites and accounts and no one else? Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, I follow very few on Twitter, man. Irfan says, hit the like button. Yeah, if you guys have enjoyed the stream, hopefully I'll be able to keep it up. The stream that is. Whoa. And that's all. That'll be it. It'll just stay up. Nothing will happen. Everything's fine. Apparently, the new ROG Ally will only cloud stream Xbox library games. Did that news just come out? Let me see. Xbox game stream. I just tested the ROG, the Xbox ROG Ally. Here's 3 things I love about it and 2 that I don't. Impressive performance. Xbox UI is greater than Windows 11. Most comfortable gaming handheld. And the cons, fan can get loud, no OLED. Where are we hearing this, Gaming Survivor? About the Ally X? What's your dad won? Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I do appreciate it, man. Ms. Biz says it's a PC. Of course, it doesn't play native Xbox games. Legally, at least. You were watching the Defining Duke podcast. Maddie Plays was quoting Sarah Bond. Damn, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like what's so interesting about that is how, if that's how it's going to be, where it's like, yeah, if you want to play your library of Xbox games purchased from the Xbox store, you're going to have to stream them. I feel like it's Microsoft just very, like, making it abundantly clear, like, we kind of want you to go to Windows. Like, we want you to go to, I don't know, that's kind of weird. I feel like it's almost like actively not inviting, but like pushing people to a different storefront. Like we want you to go to a different storefront. PC games can be downloaded. Xbox console games can be streamed. Wow. I just think what's crazy about that is how expensive it's going to be. You know, it's a very expensive handheld. I don't know. I feel like that says quite a bit maybe about their approach going forward. Bury the Light. Listen to it after stream. I'll ask your opinion tomorrow. I'll try to remember it. Bury the Light. It's like a metal band. Bury the Light. Oh, is this from DMC? It's a $1,000 streaming handheld. Well, what is the reason? Gaming Survivor, did they say why it's just streaming? Like why you can't play them natively? Is it because it would require? Well, no, because you can. Yeah, you can download PC games, but not that. What is up with that? Yeah, if you can download the PC versions, why can't you download the console versions? That's kind of weird. Hope PlayStation is able to support the handheld, not like PSVR 2. Licensing. Okay. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think I remember listening to Moore's Law is Dead talk about that. Yeah. So if licensing is like the biggest reason, and that's why you need an emulator to play console versions. So what's their solution going to be for the next Xbox console then? Assuming it would be like the same problem, right? Where like the next Xbox console is like a PC. Third party doesn't want to give out free copies for multiple storefronts and platforms. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry. I was reading what I almost said Mr. PD, MRPD. I was just reading what you said in the chat, and I was gonna say, yeah, I think you might have a slightly hard time. I almost said it the wrong way, bro, or the right way. Devil Shooter screaming in the chat, there is no next Xbox console. There is no next Xbox console. The current Xbox uses an emulator in the storefronts. Okay. Shadow, like you're saying the console versions aren't set up for it and it's not true Xbox hardware. Okay, so the idea is they shouldn't run into this problem with the next box they make, right? It's just going to be a handheld problem. Right? Or am I wrong on that? Xbox isn't PC and the games aren't accessible unless made for PC use. So if not in Game Pass, not available to be played native. Saying I'm muted again. Oh, unless maybe he's on a slight delay. Moore's Law is dead thinks the Xbox PC console hybrid will run into the same licensing problem. Oh my God. Dude, that's going to be crazy if that happens. That's going to be, yeah, I think that's going to be a problem. I don't know how Microsoft would overcome that without a large amount of backlash. I think they would struggle to overcome that. But I don't know. I guess they have some time to figure it out, you know? That's crazy. The best quote from MGS3, she was a real patriot. They'll overcome it with money. Indeed. Let me see. Where am I on time? Okay. Well, guys, I think this might be a good place to wrap the stream up. Because I definitely lost track of time. We're closing in at 4 o'clock, and I gotta be done very soon. Don't forget Buried Light. Yeah, I'll listen to that. I have it up here, Irfan. But yeah, so I didn't come to the stream with many topics today. Got to get reps in. We'll get a couple reps in. Let me. Yeah, let me get those reps in, and then we'll wrap the stream up. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. We'll definitely be back on Tuesday. Let's see. What song do I want to play? I'm gonna play a Soundgarden song. I've had a short one, though. I don't really have that many short songs. Yeah, I don't know what song to play here. I'm just trying to find like a 2.5 minute song. About like Audio Slave. Here we go. All right. Who likes some Black Label Society? Yeah, wait. What's this one chat? Says, Focus on the contraction. Moderately bulky gamer. Moderately bulky. Perfect. That's what it should be called. Play that song, by the way, is Stillborn. That's that is not a Richrod song, no. That's a real song. No offense, Richrod. That's from Black Label Society. Stillborn. Great song. Zach Wilde. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up, though. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for hanging out with me. We'll see what happens with the stream. I think it should be able to stay up. It should be okay. I'll keep an eye on it. But before I go, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who showed support. Gotta get those squats. Yeah, maybe next stream. Maybe we'll do some squats. Do some ass to grass squats. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody who shows support. I can only do this because you guys make it possible. We hit 75 members today, which is incredible to see. Silent Spartan coming with another 50 bomb today. I think we had a Matt Fu showing up, Corey showing up. So thank you guys so much. Devil Shooter, it's all good. Dude, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. Don't stress over it. All right. Because I don't know what's going to happen. I may still have to take it down. I'll just have to be more careful going forward. So I just want everybody to know if this stream does stay up and nothing happens to it and there's no timestamps, that's my bad. I told Devil Shooter not to do them. All right. It's not his fault. It's my fault. I'm sorry about that. But no worries. We have plenty of other streams coming up. And yeah, so thank anybody who dropped super chats or direct donations. I can only do this because you guys make it possible. But yeah, guys, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Later on, I'll try to get some more progress in Death Stranding 2. Wish me luck. And we should be back here tomorrow. Just make sure you have notifications turned on. And one day closer. We're one day closer to Metal Gear Delta. All right, guys. That does it. I will catch everybody in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone. Yeah, keep on keeping on. There we go.